Lord Jesus, that as this meeting moves forward, that we would not forget for a moment that you are in charge and that you are King. I pray a blessing over this council and our mayor, over those who are about to speak. May we deliberate in a way that is in the likeness of you. We thank you, Jesus, for this season. In your name we pray. Amen.
Let us pay respect to the greatest nation in the world by reciting, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. Right, face. Forward, march.
Please be seated. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Here.
Councilman Maldonado?
Here.
Councilman Shelley?
Here.
Councilwoman Woolman? Absent. Councilman Williams?
Here.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Here.
Mayor Bateman?
Here. Thank you, Madam Clerk. If there's no objection, I would like to take one of the last items and move it to the first, even before public comment, and that is the swearing in of the Mayor's Youth Council. Do I have any objections? Nope. Okay. And bring those beautiful kids forward. Patricia Faircloth McCormick and myself will do the swearing in. Constitution of the United States of America. The Constitution of the United States of America. And the laws thereof. And the laws thereof. That I will support and uphold and defend. That I will support and uphold and defend. The Constitution and laws of the state of Florida. The Constitution and laws of the state of Florida. Not inconsistent with therewith. Not inconsistent therewith. That I will observe and obey. That I will observe and obey. The laws and ordinances of the city of Homestead, Florida. The laws and ordinances of the city of Homestead, Florida. That I will faithfully perform and discharge the duties incumbent upon me. That I gave you too much. That I will faithfully perform and discharge. That I will faithfully perform and discharge the duties incumbent upon me. The duties incumbent upon me. As member of Mayor's Youth Council. As member of Mayor's Youth Council. Fairly and honestly. Fairly and honestly. And to the best of my skills and ability. And to the best of my skills and ability. So help me God. So help me God.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I really look forward to working with these esteemed youth of this community. They all are Homestead residents that attend schools throughout Miami-Dade County. I would just like to pledge to be a faithful and spirited liaison who will provide you with opportunities to get relevant and authentic learning experiences to the positions that you now hold. And with that, I would like to introduce to some and present to others the Mayor's Youth Council by name, grade, and the schools that they attend. Just wave your hand when I call your name. Rebecca Valle, 8th grade from Atala Montessori. Nicole Velasquez, 8th grade, Everglades Preparatory Academy. Julissa Maldonado, 8th grade, Everglades Preparatory Academy. Yavin Bizuate Singuinat, 9th grade from Mast Academy. Sean Gray, Mast Academy. Samara Taylor, 9th grade, Coral Reef Senior High School. Erica Smith, 9th grade, Keysgate Charter School. Goldiva Simeon, 9th grade, Keysgate Charter School. He probably does not want me to say this, but I am going to say this. My 1st grade student, Ernest Donaldson, 10th grade, Coral Reef Senior High School. Kyle Studdard, 10th grade, Keysgate Charter High School. Ashley Ruiz, 11th grade, Mast Academy. Damaris Garcia, 11th grade, South Day Senior High School. Miranda Hernandez, 12th grade, South Day Senior High School. Our very own Crystal Raquel Ruiz, 12th grade, South Day Senior High School. And last but certainly not least, Brenda Hernandez, 12th grade, South Day Senior High School. This is your Mayor's Youth Council.
Richard, she go home? Judy Reed?
Okay, let us get down to the easy stuff now. We're going to open up with public comment. Public comment, we'll try to hold it to 2 minutes tonight. Any public comment, come forward now.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ed Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane. Unfortunately, for about the last 2 or 3 council meetings, we were out of town, busy, missed some of them. And I volunteered to be on the Northgate Keysgate Advisory Board. And on that board, I am charged with bringing our residents who attend up to date on what's happening in the city. And as you know, I've been pretty much involved 8 years planning and zoning, so I have a good background in the city. What I'm continually asked, and I always wondered, Canal Street from US 1 to Speedway. For the last 10 years, we were going to finish in 3 phases. Well, we did 1, and I never have heard whether and when we're ever going to start phase 1 and 3. And is there...
Well, let me turn that mic right over to Julio Bria.
Yeah, that's good. Hey, Julio.
Well, definitely there's plans to build the rest of the phases, as you've heard. The county, right now, phase 2, which is from US 1 to 162 Avenue, that one, the plans are done 100%. Permitting is 100% complete. We're just dealing with some right-of-way acquisition issues, and the county is heading that process, and they're working through that. There's several property owners that they need to come into some agreement with in terms of right-of-way acquisition for sidewalks, etc. It's not a lot, but it does create a little delay in terms of the process of getting the project built. But they are working on it, and they're expecting to start within this fiscal year. So, you know, we're hoping that they come to some agreement there.
I did notice you did a little work in front of the waste plant. You put the tarmac in there.
The manager.
And that turned out to be nothing but a big cesspool, I guess. And
He
you've
fixed
gone
it
in
in
there.
48 hours.
Yeah, and the other thing, I've never been able to say, and other people have, the 2 young boys came here a couple of years ago and asked about walkway from Gateway. That went in, middle of the suburb, and you see the kids on that all day long, and what a project that was, and they knocked that out in a month or 2.
But that was City of Homestead. He's dealing with Dade County.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that's the difference, right?
No, it's a big difference.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for asking, keeping us on task. Yes, please come up.
Good evening. My name is Nelly Estrada. I am one of the proud owners of Chefs on the Run, and I am here to thank the CRA committee, to thank the mayor, to thank everybody that has helped us, put us where we are today. The restaurant is opened again with your help, and I wanted to invite everybody. And that's it, just real short and sweet. Thank you very much. Have a happy holiday.
And I want to thank Dennis Maytan while you're here, because now you're part of the entire connected restaurants there, because you have your own bench and your own trash can.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks to
Dennis.
you. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Amber Woods, 15,000 Southwest 296th Street. And tonight, I would like to ask for the Mayor and Council's support in my recommendation that legislature be changed in the description of reckless driving. As the city knows, on October 29th of 2011, my mother and I were in a car accident, and she was killed while I had a broken arm. And in May of 2012, the man that caused this accident was charged with simply an infraction, because whenever you are describing vehicular homicide, a person must be found to be driving in a reckless manner. And the description of a reckless manner is any person who drives any vehicle in willful or wanton disregard for the safety of persons or property. And I have found that this description is not precise. So today I ask for your support in amending this description to include, in the case of vehicular homicide, reckless driving can be found that any person that is in violation of statutes 316.1925 and or one of the acts described in statute 316.1923 and or driving as a distracted driver is guilty of reckless driving.
Well, you've got my support.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Council? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We definitely
Nays?
support that.
Item carries.
Mr. Mayor, I think that we should instruct staff to have this included in our legislative package and have the city lobbyists go to work on this thing in Tallahassee on behalf of the city.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And again.
I'm Jim Palman, President of Homestead Rodeo Association. I just wanted to remind everybody of big rodeos coming up again. It'll be the 64th annual. It's crazy, but yeah, we're one of the oldest annual professional sporting events in South Florida. Not a lot of people know that, but it's been going a long time. We're sanctioned by the Professional Rodeo Cowboy Association. They have a lot of strict guidelines, and basically that assures you're given a quality rodeo. The Super Bowl rodeos is going on right now in Las Vegas. If you get, if you could watch that on TV, it's going on through Saturday on CMT, I think, and it's just amazing. So we hope to bring that quality down to Homestead for you in January. The actual rodeo dates are the 25th, 26th, and 27th. We have all the info on our website and Facebook, and we'll be back in January again to remind everybody. But please come out. It's a fun time. It's a great community event, great family event, and we appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you for all you do.
Extra parking, don't forget, extra parking.
We've got extra parking, too. Yeah, the field next to where the arena is, we're going to open that up for parking. So I know in the past that YMCA parking lot fills up pretty quick, so we hope, don't let parking be an excuse to not come. We got plenty of parking now, so.
Just promise me that you won't build a parking garage before we leave downtown, right?
Okay.
Make us look bad.
You got that.
Quick question, are you guys going to have are you guys going to have the events leading up to the rodeo again this fall?
Yeah, we're having the family night, which is on Wednesday the 23rd. That's in the pavilion. And then we have Buck Off, which is Thursday night. That's the Mechanical Bull Showdown, which you guys are going to probably participate in, I hope.
Yeah,
that's always great. We'll have an actual rodeo announcer like we did last year. He'll be coming down there as part of that event. So that's great. And the Little Britches thing. And, of course, the parade that we're going to support the Centennial Committee. The parade theme will be the Centennial. And also, we've been doing a literacy program for many years now called Black Stallion. It's now called Books in Bronx. We've changed the name of it, but it's basically the same program. It's a bunch of first graders. We'll have probably close to 500 first graders take a field trip to our arena, and we give them 2 books. And it's always a great time to see these kids. They just love it, and they get to see horses and how the rodeo works up close. And we thank Wendy. She's been a big help for that, Wendy Lewitt. So I hope to see everyone out there in January, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. My name is Zoraida Villanueva, and I grew up here in Homestead many years ago. I am 28 years old now, and I'm coming here to ask you to support my school. I opened a non-profit private school in Homestead. I am currently servicing over 136 students that live below poverty. They go to my school thanks to, sorry. I don't know if I could do this.
That's okay.
All right, they go to my school thanks to scholarships by taxpayers' money. It's called Step Up for Students and McKay scholarships. I service about 45 students that have learning disabilities. The majority of my kids that come to my school, it's kindergarten, it's VPK through 5th grade. Next year we're opening up 6th grade. The majority of the kids that come there have been kicked out of other public schools in Homestead because of behavior, because of lack of parent involvement. In my school, we have currently 136 students that are actively in our school. We have 100% parent involvement. My kids, basically, they have no money for any activities that we do, so we fundraise for absolutely everything. I've taken my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders to the Cheesecake Factory, to Kobe's Steakhouse. We're going to go now, I'm going to take them to a restaurant that's called Crazy About You. A lot of my parents asked me at first, like, why did you do this? Why did you come back to Homestead if you didn't have to? Because I grew up here. I became a special ed teacher because I was like, when I was in school here, I felt like you always got the short end of the stick, especially if you're Hispanic or African American. And out of my graduating class, only 5 of us went to college. 5. 2 graduated. So I just asked you to help me support my school so we could break this cycle of students that grow up in Homestead and go unseen.
And they end up
they end up being those students that most of my parents are former classmates of mine, and they have 4, 5 kids apiece, you know, and I feel like those kids deserve a chance. They deserve a chance to go out there and go to know what it is to go to a restaurant, know what it is to go on the turnpike and go north and have a higher education. So I'm standing here before you to ask you if you could please help me keep these kids coming to my school and keep them coming there for free. That's it.
Well, I think you try to reach out to us. This is very, to me, informative. You reach out to us and tell us what you think, you know, the city of Homestead can do to help you, and whatever we can, we will.
What we need help with right now is, I was able to open the school by myself. I did this all with funds that I raised because of a tutoring agency that I've had in Homestead for 5 years. With my tutoring agency, I provided free tutoring to students. Over 5,000 students in Homestead, Florida, receive free tutoring in reading and math thanks to a scholarship I wrote to the state of Florida, which is called the No Child Left Behind Act. I don't know if you guys know about that, but there's a part called Title I. And through Title I, there's something called Supplemental Educational Services, and it provides free tutoring for all students that go to Title I schools and are CINI Level 2. So I went out there, I wrote this grant by myself with not a penny to my name, and I got this grant. And with this grant, I was able to reach out to the community for 5 years. After those 5 years, which was last year, which was my 5th year with it, I ended up raising so much funds that I was able to open up my school. My school right now is 15,000 square feet. We have about 10 classrooms. I have 10 certified teachers. It's not just someone with an associate's degree. They all have their certification. They all have their bachelor's degree in education. And I was able to provide this for my students for free. So all I'm asking you is, now this year, the Florida Department of Education is asking us to have a surety bond of $115,000. And right now we're really like, we don't know where we're gonna get it from. We can't ask our parents. We are trying to figure out if we do more fundraisers, but a lot of our fundraisers we're trying to do to expose these kids, because if you see in the proposal I wrote to you, there's a trip I want to take my kids to New York that I promised them, that I was going to take them to New York City, my 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and they're just ecstatic about it. But I feel like in order to keep my school open, the money that I was going to use for New York is not going to be able to go to New York. It's going to have to go towards this surety bond that I have to have for my school. So if in any way you guys can help me with that, or just at least a portion of that, so that I can do both. I know it's a lot to ask, but I want to keep my school open, but I don't want to give them an empty promise. So that's what I need your help with.
Well, I'll review it, and everybody else has a packet here, and reach out to us individually, and
Yes.
we'll give you some time, I'm sure, to talk
Thank
to
you
about
so
it, all right?
much.
Mayor,
Thank you.
and
Yes.
actually, I'd like to invite you to the Education Committee as well. So, you know, I think through this council, there's plenty of resources that we have and connections and people we know, and I think if we bond together for the greater good of our students, then we should be able to get you some help by reaching out to others. So I think we're all committed to the children here in Homestead, and not only myself, just because I'm the liaison for the Education Committee. I think across the board, our discussion has always been how to make sure that our kids, like you said, don't get left behind. So you count with our committee and the rest of this council. Just, do please reach out to us so we can help you.
Yes, definitely, and thank you so much. And I'm sorry I've never reached out to you guys before, but I never thought that this was even possible to do. So I met a great person who actually was like, you gotta go, you gotta tell people about what you're doing. You're doing this by yourself. So I just hope this opens up lots of doors, not just for me, but for them. Because
And you never know, maybe somebody watching tonight will call you tomorrow.
hopefully.
So give the name of the school, your address, and
Yes, my school's name is Villa Preparatory Academy. We're located right off 288th Street. It's 14112 Southwest 288th Street, Homestead, Florida. It's where the old Aspida used to be. I don't know if you guys remember
I used to work there.
Aspida South. We're right there. We got the same location.
phone number?
Our phone number is 305-247, I'm forgetting my number, 5858. That's our school number.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Through the
and I'm
mayor,
sorry.
just one second.
Please.
Is it Zoraida?
Yes.
Were you featured on a local television station?
Yes, I was. Channel
On
10 News
right.
came to my school because it was just someone wrote to them. I actually got approached also by CNN Heroes. Someone nominated me, and I was like, I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
And they're just they were very surprised with what I did with my life because, like I told them, I grew up here. My parents came here from Cuba. I was born and raised in Homestead. And they're like, how? How did you make it out of here? And I was like, I did, and that's why I believe that my students can.
Well, I saw your story featured on Channel 10, and I was captivated by it, knowing the fact that you were raised in Homestead. And I would just like to thank you for the work that you're doing. Teaching and leading is not easy, and you have a very vulnerable population. And I consider what you do is mission work. You are a true missionary, and you're a torchbearer for children who doesn't know that the world is bigger than their block. So I'll do everything that I can do to support you and your cause to take your children to New York. Be more than happy to meet with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Bye.
I want to say good night, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Laura Seeley, and I'm getting teary like the lady before me, and I'm nervous too. Okay, my name is Laura Seeley. I live at 658 Northwest 15th Street in Homestead, Florida. I'm a single parent of 2 kids, a 20-year-old who's an RN student at Dade Medical College, a 16-year-old, well, my son, he's just turned 16 today. He's in high school at Miami Palmetto Senior. And he also has autism. I have been a resident here in Florida. I'm originally from the Virgin Islands, and I'm a resident here in Florida for the past 8 years, 5 of which I live in Homestead. I'm also a full-time student, psychology student. On my 2nd year, and I have some concerns that I need to bring. I'm very nervous. I'm sorry. After my divorce 7 years ago, while I was living in Homestead, my divorce was really bitter. I started working at the well-known retail store, Home Depot. And after my divorce, it was very hard to collect child support. I didn't qualify for food stamp. They said that I paid too much rent, and if I had owed on my vehicle that I owed on, that I would qualify for food stamp. Since then, I've been unemployed, really, sort of unemployed. For 2 years, I've been working as an auto inspector online for the past 2 years. It's been very, very hard where it's really hard to make ends meet, working online. But so far I've been doing it. I've been, surviving. I tried filling out applications and seeing that I can get maybe hired by the city. To no avail. I tried code enforcement, I tried office work. No one called me, no one hired me. I also spoke to a couple of people who work with the city, and it's kind of, ironic. One guy told me, hey, you got to be family for you to be hired, because it's all family. And
more family.
yeah, it's all family. So I sort of back off on it. Hey, no one's not gonna hire me. I'm not family, because City of Homestead are all families. But my concern is that if someone is a resident of City of Homestead, I'm willing to work for the city. I'm willing to volunteer for the city, but to give back to the city, because I've been living here for the past 5 years, and no one is hiring me. So, I'm here contributing to the city, but all my resources that I have, my funds that I'm getting working online, and it's really hard. It's really, really hard. Because Thanksgiving, while all of us sitting in our homes and we having Thanksgiving and we're happy, guess what? Laura Seeley had no turkey.
Well, I think the city employment part, I don't, look, we need to take a hard look at that hiring practice, and under the review of the charter, we'll do that. But I think that when you called my office, did you not? And we talked recently about you were looking for subsidies and something that we could do to help offset your rent and or other things until you got back on your feet. And my question to CRA, and I couldn't answer yours when you called me here, or my assistant, was that the county seems to have subsidies. CRA here tonight? CRA? Hey, he just walked in. This county seems to have a pot of subsidies to reach into when somebody calls their office, and they have a legitimate process you go through, and we don't seem to have that. It's not that I'm saying that our CRA dollars are set for that, but is the county, are we to refer everybody north every time somebody calls? Is that how it happens? And I've had about 3 calls this month, and I guess it's probably because of the holidays. But is that what we're supposed to do, that when somebody calls for some type of emergency help financially, we are to refer them north to the county? Is that what our process is?
Currently, we don't have any small business programs in place. We have discussed them with the CRA board in the past, and we're working on getting that to you for final approval. But most of the time, we do send people north to the county.
Well, I just kind of thought maybe they had this big pot that they could share a little piece of it with us, so that who knows better than we, this council, who's in need and who's not in need down here, to have to continue to send them north to go through a county process. If there's somebody that I could call or reach out to and try to, reach out and get some words to them, I'll be more than happy to do that. Because I know that there are some big funds they have up there that they can dip into whenever they...
Well, I will sit down with the economic development manager, and we'll see exactly what we can tap into and if there's people that you can call. I just don't have a list in front of me right now that we can discuss. But that's something we can bring back to the board or the council, if you wish.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Because, like I said, I've had at least 3 calls, between November and now. That's where I thought this was going tonight.
It's especially poignant during the holidays. You do get a lot of people that are...
It's incredible, yeah. Some people call them crying, and I don't know what to tell them, where to turn. I'd like to even at least know the phone number and agency. Let our staff have that for, if it's Dennis Moss's office, because half of our city's his and half is Linda Bell's. If we can split it up and figure out who to call, at least we can give the number out.
Yes, sir. We'll get that for you.
Thank you.
Yes, also to the main reason why I called the office, because I thought that Section 8 was connected with the city of Homestead, and realized, they won't connect, they weren't connected. That's what I thought.
And I hear you loud and clear, and I feel for you, and I feel for us, because
it's really hard.
Somebody's holding that big pot of money somewhere. And I know the federal government's sending it down, but I don't know where it's going, We're gonna look into it. A CRA director's gonna look into it. He's gonna get back with me. So in the next week, 10 days or whatever, call my office back, talk to Lourdes, and find out what what we found out. Okay.
Okay. Because it's really hard not having Section 8, not getting food stamp, trying to go after a deadbeat dad, and trying to make ends meet online with 2 kids in college. I myself is in college. My daughter's in college.
God bless you.
And it's really, really hard. It's really hard.
Yeah. Well, like I said, please call back to the office, and we'll have something. We'll tap into the county and find out where to call, what to do, and maybe even eventually get some of those funds sent down here where we can actually, put them where they're really needed.
Okay. Hopefully get my application in and get a job with the city.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening. My name is Richard DiBenedetto. I've been in this town since 1959. I want to congratulate the City Council on doing a hell of a job. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but good job. And I really support what they're doing with the City Hall. I think that can revitalize downtown Homestead, just like they revitalized South Beach. But basically what I'm here today, I'm 14 commercial and residential, commercial and industrial properties in Homestead. The one I'm talking about is 186 Southwest First Avenue. I understand the city code is designed to help govern the city. I sent a packet to everybody up there to take a look at, but I don't know if people are aware. I mean, I can spend $15,000, $20,000 and try to fight something so I can make $1,000 a month, but that's not the reason I'm here. The City of Homestead's charter says that you cannot have a soccer field unless it's in an indoor building in the City of Homestead. And it's kind of, I don't know, I don't think it's an issue that's worth fighting financially when something is really just totally out of balance, that it doesn't make sense, that you shouldn't have to fight it, that City Council could step in and say, you know, we have so many people that want to play soccer in Homestead. Any place they try to play soccer, they're not allowed to, or if they do, really, they're not allowed to. And just like Roscoe Warren, they just opened up new soccer fields there. I mean, that's against code. I mean, how did they do that? I mean, do we write the code that works for certain people and doesn't work for other people? I mean, somewhere if it says that you're not allowed to have a soccer field unless it's in an indoor building, well, then that's what the code says, regardless whether it's Roscoe Warren Park or any other park. Or same thing it actually says if you have a fair. Sacred Heart has a fair every year. It's supposed to be indoors. It's not allowed to be outside. I mean,
Well,
maybe...
Can I just stop
Sure.
you so you don't run out of time? Let me turn to Development Services Director, please. Help us out. Is that true? Is that way our ordinance is written, that you can only have a soccer field indoors? We've got about 6 soccer fields and they're all outside.
I believe the soccer fields need to be on publicly owned, public land.
So it's a different.
I don't see the
Different
reference
rules
to
for the
indoors.
city.
I think that the soccer fields need to be on publicly owned land. So the city can develop a park and put a soccer field in it, but I don't believe that a developer can develop a soccer field on their own land.
Let me try to soak this up. So if somebody comes in, some rich entrepreneur comes in from Ocean Reef, or like this gentleman here, I know he's rich, but he comes in and says, I'd like to build a soccer field for these kids over in the southwest section. We can't do it? Or the northwest section? Or the northeast? Wherever. Help me out. Is that the way it goes?
I believe that's true, but I can go back and get you a full report on it in the next couple of days.
I also, just want to remind you, we didn't make these codes. These are not, this is not our creation. We enforce what your laws are. So if you want to change the law, we're more than happy to implement whatever you enact.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think that we need to do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I was going to say, on that note, I mean, is there any way that we can look at this particular ordinance? Because I know that I've had people approach me in the Northwest who have looked to put in a soccer field for the residents in that area. And so it would be nice to look at that, maybe at a cow or something.
If people are wondering now, why would a law such as that exist? And typically that happens all over the country because in some communities, a use like that, it's a noisy use.
Right.
And some neighborhoods don't like them, so that's why it's kind of regulated the way it is. But again, it's just a policy decision and not really a staff.
Well, this is on industrial land next to 2 junkyards, so I don't think it's going to bother any of the neighbors.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, again, and I don't want to address one particular person's property so much as just in general look at the code,
Sure.
why it came about, why we have it the way we have it, and should we change it? Just a discussion about it.
As far as the industrial land goes, you're allowed to have amusement enterprises on industrial land, but the code requires that all those amusement enterprises, something like a soccer field, needs to be under a roof. So in that sense, yes, if you're doing it on industrial land, you've got to put it under a roof. And an amusement enterprise could be a wide definition, like a fair or something like that, a soccer field.
How would you get like a roller coaster under a roof? Or a Ferris wheel? I mean, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I don't get it. So we're going to look into it, correct, Mr. Manager? Okay, we're going to look into it in a timely manner. What, 30 days? First of the year? You heard it. You got it. We're going to look into it 30 days.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for trying.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Happy holidays. My name is Marcos Morales. I'm the part owner, I'll say the handyman for my wife. She's the owner of Mima's Cantina, new local restaurant that opened up. I'm coming here tonight because I've been trying to do some research as far as getting more traffic into the plaza. It's at Autobahn Plaza. That's 1541 Southeast 12th Avenue. It's the plaza next door to Homestead High School. And we've personally have placed people on sometimes the corners of the street between 328th Street in Tennessee and also Palm Drive in Tennessee to bring in traffic. It works.
It works.
No one knows we're there. And not only have we made an increase, but the Taekwondo studio has picked up kids. The new daycare picked up kids. The hair salon has picked up clients. So no one else could come tonight from other obligations, but I'm here to represent the Autobahn Plaza. We would also like to thank the City of Homestead Police Department for doing an extraordinary job in cleaning up that plaza.
Thank you.
from the troublemakers or whatnot. But it's turned around immensely, and thank you very much. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Mayor. I mean, you guys have stepped up big time, and we appreciate it. We were just wanting to know if there's any way we can have a sign pointing us out on those two major intersections, on the side road, a legal sign that states the plaza is within 2 miles from there, or less than a mile, just so we can have some of that cross traffic that's coming back and forth. We had the raceway, we've had the air shows, all these events that brought thousands upon thousands of spectators, and we received practically zero because there's nothing showing anyone that we're there. And I'm just coming tonight to see if there's something we can do to have a sign placed there.
Well, first of all, I can tell you those human signs are probably not legal, but they work because they got my attention. And actually, I went over there, my wife and I, after we do our little running in the morning over at the Roscoe Warren, and had some coffee. And your wife is working very hard. She looks like she's,
Thank you.
she's working diligently to make it work. And yes, yours truly did work for about 2 weeks on getting some of those kids that don't belong there back at school.
Exactly.
And working with the resource officers didn't work. So I went to our police department that made it work. I don't know why they think that they can't come off school property and go down there and do what they need to do, but they can't for some reason. But we did it, and you're right, they no longer hang out there. It's good.
True.
But your landlord, I hate to pick on you a little bit while you're here tonight, but your landlord needs to step up too. The plaster's falling off the building. The paint's peeling off the building. I mean, I know you and your wife can't say something because you rent from him, but I said something already to code compliance because you can't operate like that. Not when somebody's working as hard as you and your wife are to bring a business to life there. As far as the sign, I think that's something that Development Services, again, has to look into. I don't know if you can have an informational sign that just says retail in this area, because it is kind of dense.
If he can come in and give us an indication of where he'd like the sign, we can look at it to see what the possibilities are.
Great.
Okay, Ms. Wallman.
Yeah, thanks. Marcos, we've been neighbors for how long? A long time?
Many years, Ms. Wallman.
Many years. And I, too, have been trying to get that place cleaned up, and I met with the property manager this week, and Marcos, and the police department. And has your landlord, has he taken any of my suggestions? Because, I just laid it on the line with your property manager.
Yeah, you did. Very well. Thank you.
I was a little too strong, maybe, but that's okay, because...
It worked. They started painting. Thank you.
Oh, good.
They started the construction. Also, they've already accepted bids to have the gas tanks taken out and new ones reinstalled. Good. So the gas station will be operational sometime next year.
Well, I told him, if you don't clean it up, you're going to pick it or something. But those signs that you're talking about, we refer to the Schnebley signs and different signs throughout the county. And Joe, I know that I think they pay for their own signs in the county, and then they get a permit and put the signs up if allowed, something like that. So I don't know if we have a system in place, but I promised Marcos that we'd look into that. And
I think the county's printing process or sign process is pretty similar to ours. They may have different rules, but
Okay.
certainly our rules, if we understand what type of sign he wants, we can tell him whether it's allowed or not in the right location.
We had, last time we met was on Thursday, and I wasn't up on the sign code at that time, and I know we're in the process of changing our signs, Mayor, or Mr. Maldonado, I think you're in charge of that, and they're going to be in violation over there with a lot of that too, you know. But hopefully, I mean, the first thing you got to change is spell the name right.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, it just bothers me. So, the mayor, thank you for helping, and of course, I'm in your corner.
Thank you.
He knocks on my door.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're there for you. That used to be such a viable little shopping center. I mean,
Very
and
convenient.
I've been going over there almost every evening, just riding through. And the children's taekwondo, I mean, they're packed in there. There's hundreds of kids that go there. The barber shop was busy, your little cafe. But if you're afraid to go to the shopping center, you're not going to go.
That was a big problem for quite a while, but thank you guys.
And I'm worried about the construction, because when we start that construction to 4-lane North Canal, right there at that intersection of Tennessee and North Canal, that's going to really hurt them too. So if we could work really fast on that sign information, I'd really appreciate it.
We would too.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Sure.
I'm sorry. I'm Jessica from Chefs on the Run. I wasn't going to say anything, but since you're on signage, I'd like to see what's going on with getting a sign to say that we have downtown historic Homestead to try to bring in more traffic that goes down to the Keys. It'd be nice if they saw the museum, if they saw Art South.
We'll stop right now. We have 6 brand new signs for you. 6 signs, and Julio Brea and I and the sign donor rode last week.
That's week.
They came from FDOT. We just got to figure out who's putting them up.
That's amazing. And then my next question would be if we could, I see from experience that the only way that I get tourism down there, and I know that now with the signs I'll get more, but what I think needs to get done is maybe on the website make it more savvy for Androids and, you know, the smartphones. That way when tourists look it up, maybe the city of Homestead can be on TripAdvisor. A lot of my clients come from TripAdvisor and Yelp. So try whoever's internet savvy in the city who gets paid for that. Would be great to do that. That way we get, that's right. Okay?
You got it.
Okay,
well taken. TripAdvisor. It's Pastor.
I'm Alexis Talbot, pastor at First United Methodist Church, and first of all, I want to thank the mayor and the council for the 20 turkeys that we received this Thanksgiving, and what a delight it was to see faces receive turkeys who did not. And I want to advertise to the Homestead community the Homestead Food Pantry. This is a very, very vital ministry that happens in this community. We provide food 2 to 5 days of food on a weekly basis to upward towards 500 families on a regular basis. The pantry opens at 9 a.m. and stays open until noon, and that's at 622 North Chrome Avenue every Saturday morning. And we would love to have families who are going without or can't quite make it to come and receive food. And that's so, so important. I want to thank those in this community who on a regular basis donate food, for the agencies that partner with the Homestead Food Pantry, and would like to invite anyone, those on the council, those in this council room, and those who are viewing, to come to Homestead Food Pantry on Saturday mornings and to help to distribute as well. This is a joy for the First United Methodist Church and other churches that help out to be able to make a difference in this way. And I just thank you so much for your time and your commitment to the workings of this city. It is a true joy to be a resident here. Thank you.
Thank you. I want you to know she personally helped me unload the turkeys, her and I. Any further public comment? Before we close public comment, I'd like to recognize former Mayor Fred Rhodes is in the audience tonight. Hey, Fred, how you doing? Okay. The next item on the agenda, additions, deletions, or deferrals. Do we have any?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to add the Martin Luther King.
We've got one. We're requesting to defer the drop box, the ordinances related to the drop boxes, which would be tab 12 and tab 15.
Okay, so we're just going to defer that for a little while, right?
Already across that?
12 and 15. Okay, got that call today. Okay. Okay, all in favor to add? Aye?
Aye.
Nay? Okay, the items carry. Do I need to do the same thing for the deletion?
I interpreted that as add and delete.
Okay, I was going to say, do I need
No,
to do
perfect, yeah.
2 times?
No, once is good.
Okay, thank you. All right then. Do we want to take the added item now? Martin Luther King?
Yes.
Let's take it now. Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Let me invite, these are, reason why we added to the agenda because we wouldn't meet the next time, perhaps following the parade and all of the other activities that is coming up for the Martin Luther King. And last year, New Vision for South Dade, we waived fees and the bond fees for the parade, and so they have some new activities this upcoming year that will be using the FICA Williams. So I'll let the representative from New Vision for South Dade speak on that and what they're asking the council to do.
All right. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. My name is Trace McCain, and I am representing New Visions for South Dade. We are asking for the council to give us a waiver of all fees associated with the presentation of events in the city of Homestead for the following events. First event will be the 2013 MLK Youth Concert for Justice, Peace, and Equality, which is taking place at Losner Park, which is located at 401 North Prome Avenue here in the city of Homestead on Saturday, January 12, 2013, from 4 to 10 p.m. The second one will be the 2013 MLK Pioneer Induction Ceremony, which is taking place at the FICA Williams Community Center, which is located at 951 Southwest 4th Street here in Homestead. Please note that the date of this event has been moved back from Wednesday, January 16, 2013, to Tuesday, January 15, 2013, and it will be taking place from the times of 5 to 7 p.m. We're also asking for MLK Movie Night on the Park, which is taking place at Blakey Park, which is located at 32601 Southwest 187th Court here in Homestead on Friday, January 18, 2013, from 6 to 9 p.m. And last, but surely not least, our 2013 MLK Chess Tournament, which will be also taking place at the FICA Williams Community Center. All events are free for the community. In addition, New Visions for South Dade is asking that the $5,000 special event bond be waived for the parade, which is taking place on Saturday, January 19th, 2013. The lineup will begin at 10:30 a.m. and the parade will start promptly at 12 noon. Should you have any questions, please call Mr. Willie Brown.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions, council? Okay. Mr. Williams, you want to?
Yeah, I move that we waive these fees and the bond fee for the parade. We've done it in the past, and we've done it for other organizations that have had parades. And
I'll second that.
So that's my motion.
Okay, we got a motion and a second.
Just one quick
question.
Just for clarification, Mr. Williams, it's just for the fees that go with the park and stuff at this particular time and the bond?
Right.
Okay,
It's
no
just
problem.
the
Thank you.
rental fee, yes.
That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Okay, consent agenda.
Mayor, I'd like to pull tab 4, car number 532, master agreement for installation of distributed antenna system. No, I'm sorry. Strike that. I'm not going to pull that. That's okay. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So are there any items here that need to be pulled from any other council member?
No.
Okay, motion to approve?
Move it.
Consent, second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Item carries. Okay, public hearings?
Yeah. Yes, please be advised the following items on the agenda are quasi-judicial in nature. If you wish to comment upon any of these items, please indicate the item number you would like to address when the announcement regarding the quasi-judicial item is made. An opportunity for persons to speak on each item will be made available after the applicant and staff has made their presentations on each item. Swearing in, all testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you do not wish to either be cross-examined or sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the council to ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. The full agenda packet on each item is hereby entered into the record. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. In accordance with Code Section 2-591, any lobbyist must register before addressing the council on any of the following items. At this time, council members must disclose any ex parte communications concerning any items on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I did have conversations with the applicant on tab number 9, 10, and 11.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I had conversation with the applicant on tab 9, 10, and 11.
I might have had conversation with 9, 10, or 11, so I'm going to be safe and say that. I don't remember. But.
Mayor, I too had conversations with the applicant in tabs 9, 10, 11.
Count me in.
Good conversation going on.
What is this, like ditto?
A lot of conversation.
Yes, I had a conversation with tab
9, 10, and 11.
9, 10, and 11.
Thank you. At this time, the clerk will swear in any persons who wish to testify on any of the following quasi-judicial items.
Would you please stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me? I state your name, hereby swear or affirm that the information I present shall be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Thank you. You may be seated.
Mayor, moving on to...
1 second, please. Yes, Mr.
I need to add that I had a conversation about tab 7, please, with the applicant. I believe it's, is it 7? Excuse me, 9, I mean.
Yeah, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, 9, 10, and 11.
He'd like the rest of them. We all say that.
They've been doing a lot of talking.
Just for the record, I did not have a conversation because I was sick with that cold.
I don't think I did either.
Just for the record.
I don't remember any of it. Okay, floor is yours again, sir.
Ready? Tab 6, your first item for consideration this evening is a final order of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting a certificate of use to allow the operation of a retail grocery store with on-premises sale of beer and wine located at 2078 Northeast 8th Street as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Move it.
Thank you. Second? Staff?
Yes, sir. Staff recommends that the mayor and council approve the attached final order granting the certificate of use for the group called Agro-Trade America, which is operating the Okie Dokie grocery market. This is to be used as for the operation of a grocery store with incidental retail sale of beer and wine. The property is zoned B2, and it has a future land use designation of light commercial use, both of which permit grocery stores and markets. Pursuant to the code, we've analyzed the requested certificate of use application, determined the applicant demonstrates compliance with the specified criteria in that code, so we recommend approval.
Okay, questions from council?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you. I would just, I see the applicants here. I would just, my concern looking at this is that we make sure there's no loitering. you know, with a parking lot, not having a gas station where people are coming and going as quickly, and having a big shopping center there for the other people there, the other businesses are there and stuff. I just want to make sure we don't get any loitering happening outside the door, as sometime happens wherever. I mean, you know, it happens at Oasis Shopping Center where we have to move people along. That would be my only concern.
I think that's also important to us. It doesn't help our business any to have people loitering in the parking lots.
Thank you.
That's a very good point. Just do your part in calling the police and doing the right thing, you know, for our community, all right?
Of course, that's part of our training. On a side note, I want to thank City of Homestead, the mayor, the council, and everybody that we've worked with. We're really excited to be here. It's going to be our first store here, not the last for sure. We're going to be having a grand opening event probably in January, if not February. Job fairs along the way. Each store should be bringing approximately 14 to 20 jobs to the city. So thanks again.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Any final questions from council? I'll now open the public hearing. Questions from the public on this item. Please come forward. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Wallman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
No.
Councilman Williams?
No.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Tab 8.
Tab 7.
7, I'm sorry.
Yes, tab 7 is the first reading of an
That was
ordinance of
long.
the City of Homestead, Florida, considering the request of Carl Di Nobrega for a rezoning of an approximately 14,247 square foot parcel from one family district, R1, to professional business restricted district, B1A, for property located at 190 Northwest 14th Street, as legally described in Exhibit A, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Motion. Motion.
I'll move it.
Okay, second. Thank you. Okay. Staff?
We recommend approval of the rezoning ordinance. The applicant intends to convert the existing structure to a 1,700 square foot professional office use with 8 parking spaces on site upon the approval of the requested zoning. The applicant has concurrently filed an application for site plan improvements, which we'll be hearing shortly. The professional business district B1A does permit offices for professional purposes, along with 17 other types of additional related uses. The future land use designation is professional mixed use, which is implemented by the B1A district, so this is certainly a permittable zoning within that land use category, so we do recommend approval.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I have a question. I know that the history on this particular area is that at one time the hospital, Homestead Hospital, was in this area, and so they rezoned that parcels around it to accommodate or to encourage business development of out parcels for doctors and for medical clinics and things of that nature, and so it made sense at that time. But now, since then, the hospital has since been moved. 3-4 years ago it left. Now there's a school there, and so my concern with this particular application is that I don't believe that it necessarily fits the current area and what this area is going to be going forward. You know, if this was east of Northwest 1st Avenue, there are a lot of B1As already zoned in that area, and so I would be more apt to approve that or to be on board with that. But because this is now another block in, to me it doesn't make sense to allow an area that really only has one other B1A, everything else is residential. I just don't think it fits that particular area, especially given the fact that the hospital is now left. And my understanding is that they're proposing some sort of a medical use, which again may cause extra traffic, because anytime you see patients or have anything like a medical type facility, you're going to have a lot of people coming and going. So it's going to me, change the area. And so for that, I don't support this rezoning.
Well, for the record, the hospital has actually opened a clinic over there now. I don't know if it's in their own building, if they owned it, or they're renting space now, but I had the pleasure of going over the last Friday with the CEO of Homestead Hospital, Bill Duquette, and they have a full clinic that they've moved back over to that building. I don't know what it's called, but it's there.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Tom David on behalf of the applicant. The office is at 381 North Chrome Avenue, Suite 200. Mayor and Council, this building will be used for office use. My client, Mr. Denobrega, is here. May you stand up, Mr. Denobrega? And his business partner, Mr. DeBlett. The purpose of this building will be used for their back office operation. They run a medical business around the South Florida, and the purpose is this is their headquarters building for them. So it's not a doctor's office. It won't be seeing patients, and it has limited capacity because it only has 8 parking spaces. It's a small building. It's only 1,700 square feet. There is an office caddy corner across the street now, two buildings down on First Avenue, but on the west side of First Avenue, there is Homestead Manor is there with a big parking lot. You can see it in the aerial. This was a forward-looking process that the City of Homestead adopted in its master plan, and this zoning is the most restrictive business zoning you can put into a master planned area like this. So we really request your support. My clients are here. You guys can sit down. My clients are here if you have any questions about their use, and I just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you. We ask for your support, obviously.
Yeah. It seems to be growing over there again. The whole medical center seems to be filling up. I was really surprised at how many cars were actually in the parking lot. It seemed to be pretty heavy. Any further questions from council? Okay, at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? If you have questions on this item, please come forward. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Okay. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
No.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Warman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
Yes.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, tab 8.
Yes, moving on to tab 8. Tab 8 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving a special exception requested by Joe's Junkyard, Inc. to permit a recycling and transfer facility on an approximately 39,414 square foot area of a 3.55 acre parcel located at 151 Southwest 12th Avenue as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Okay, moving on. Motion?
Move it.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Staff?
Yes, sir. We recommend approval of the resolution approving the special exception for the recycling and transfer facility. The applicant currently operates a junkyard on the parcel, and at this point in time, he's in the southwest neighborhood, industrial sub-area. He's got a future land use designation of planned urban neighborhood. The facility will recycle the ferrous and non-ferrous metals along with cardboard. As you recall, this sub-area in the southwest neighborhood permits recycling and transfer facilities following the approval of the special exception. They're making this request based on the review criteria developed as standards set forth in our code, section 3045D. We've reviewed this and we are recommending approval.
Council?
Mr. Mayor, it's just a quick question. There was a list of items, I guess, that you raised as concerns, and I see that a response letter, and it looks like all those items were addressed. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I just want to say, for the aesthetics of it now, and I know the applicant very well, and we just need some reassurance. I need reassurance that, one, the cars aren't going to hang over the wall any longer, and two, they're not going to be stacked outside the facility. Because currently, in the past week, there have been 5 or 6 of them outside the facility. So we need to take either closer eyes on them, or everybody's fairly has to take care of their own property. And I don't know who, if this particular piece of property has somebody help me out in the address, is it the one facing Maori or the side road that faces Roby George?
Hold on, let me look at the map here. The one's facing 320, it's facing 320th Street and it's facing...
Maori, yeah, 320.
Right, and it's facing the street to the, it's got 2 frontages, one on the east and one on the north and one on the east.
Yeah. Well, I think what troubles me too on Maori is that in the past, let me finish. In the past, and it's the same owner, is that they used to stack the cars out front, so it destroyed the front, destroyed it. It has gigantic potholes in it. I mean 3, 4, 5 feet in diameter, foot deep. Somebody needs to go in there and fix the front of that place up. And I don't think it should be the city of Homestead. I think it needs to be regraded, it needs to have its grass put back down, and it needs to be presentable. It may be an industrial area, but that's inside the 4 walls, not outside the 4 walls. It is a mess. Drive down there and take a look at it. It's a mess. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Your Honor. William Lohman, 18001 Old Cutler Road, Palmetto Bay. Just to clarify really quickly, the piece of property we're talking about is not one of the ones facing Maori. And as a part of the move, we have pledged to do a lot of landscaping, put in vines surrounding the walls, trees planted with inside to
You got my
screen
vote
it.
if you clean it up. You got my vote. But it's a mess, and you have to agree. It's a mess.
Yes,
and
Your
for
Honor.
us to even allow this, I mean, without asking them to clean it up, I don't know.
Hey,
Because
Mayor?
it always seems to fall back on the city to clean it up. Yes, sir.
Mayor, I have a problem with this particular application because I have the same concern. The place, it's not kept up to the standard that I like to see. We've always had issues and problems, and until they can show in good faith that they're serious about their commitment and level of keeping the place clean around the area, I won't be able to support this.
Yes, Ms. Wellman.
I'm sorry.
You through, Ms. Williams?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, go ahead.
I used to be an owner of, I call it a salvage yard. Don't like to call it a junkyard, but right there on Maori. And that was back in the 90s, and it was difficult. I mean, we had to work really, really hard to keep our place really nice and aesthetically pleasing, and since then, I agree with the potholes, and I mean, it's all up and down through there. It's not just one, it's several right there in that Maori area. So how do we know, you're saying that in the plans, so Joe, can we hold them to these plans, that they're going to landscape, that they're going to do this, or they're going to do that, or would that, after the landscaping part, would it be code enforcement that would have to come in and,
I think the best way to handle this is to require a condition as part of the approval that they landscape around the facility, and therefore we can hold, it'll be part of the development order, and we can hold them to that.
and then code enforcement can?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will support it, but I'm telling you, I've been there, done that. And I know what it's like to work with Durham, and I know what it's like to work with all these different agencies that you have to do when you own a salvage yard. It's tough some days, but I'll support it if we can put a condition in there. Hopefully, you suggested it, so hopefully you're agreeable to that.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
In your due diligence work, do y'all look up code enforcement issues already?
Yes, we do look up code enforcement. We check with the police and all those types of things.
How many issues have they had?
I don't believe, I can't find any, but I'll go double check that for you. I don't see.
You mean you can't find any, you don't have it with you tonight? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know the answer to your question, is what I'm
okay.
saying.
All right.
So I can go research that, but I don't think we had anything that stuck out in my head as unusual when we did that research.
Okay. Because the roads, we put sidewalks over there. We don't have sidewalks. The city invested money and resources.
It's a done.
And I'm telling you, I hope my colleagues support me on this. I don't want to move forward on this application until they step up to the plate and do what they're supposed to do by keeping their facility to the right level, the expectation of the code, and do what is right by my community.
If I may?
Just a minute.
Council.
Ms. Williams?
Yes, I'm done, man.
We take your concerns very seriously, and part of this special exception that we're requesting allows us to go in and do this landscaping on this plot of land across 12th where we're intending to move the operation of Joe's Junkyard. So granting this allows us to go in and do that re-landscaping and make sure it does stay beautified to keep the city of Homestead green and clean.
Yeah. I personally would like to see the Development Service Director and Manager both drive down there and see exactly what we're talking about, because it is a dump. I'm telling you. It is not no little teeny potholes. It looks like a bomb hit the place.
Mayor, at this point in time, I move for deferral.
That's a motion?
That's a motion.
I'll second. Okay.
I'm not denying your application. I'm giving you time so that we can sit down and talk about it, because it's not right. The place city has put resources and monies over there on sidewalks, and you can't find a sidewalk over there. They block our roads. It's ridiculous. And we're going to sit here and say and play. No, I'm not going to do it tonight. I move that we defer the application until they clean up their act.
So, and not just the piece that you're referring to. They own far more than that. Both sides, down 320 Maury, and then as you turn the corner there, that all needs to be regraded. I mean, they have stacked and stacked and stacked on it for years, and it's beat up down to nothing. That's a county road on 320. The one running north and south may be ours. I'm not sure, but the county road, I can't get them. We've been calling them for weeks to come out and fix a little piece. They're not going to come out and fix it. I'm going to tell you, they're not going to do it. Somebody needs to regrade it, fix it up. There was sod there at one time. Go down to Redland Road and turn the corner. Look, there's sod up and down every one of those industrial areas.
So if I understand the council correctly, you want us to meet with you regarding the cleaning up the area first before we bring this back in front of the council?
I think a proper due diligence on what you have now and show some good faith. And this council loves expansion, and we love job creation. But you can't keep beating down our city and not taking care of your own. And if you look at it, have you been down there?
Myself? No.
Yeah. Well,
No, you've not been down there because the way you're talking. I know you've not been down there.
You wouldn't be happy if you saw it. I'll tell you. And code enforcement's got their hands full, and they're everywhere, so they try to do their best. We do have the cars out there. Big improvement. Big improvement. We used to stack cars out there. That's all improved, and my hat's off to them for that. But somebody's got to fix that property up.
Right.
We don't have the funds to do it.
I can't speak to the other parcels of land, but I know that we did intend to go in and landscape and rezone these two sections that are involved in this special exception.
Well, if you'd like for me to, then maybe I'll ride down there with one of the code compliance officers, and they can look at it, and they can write him a formal citation so he goes and fixes it. Is that what you want?
No, sir. I'm happy to take what the council is offering for us to go in and make good faith efforts to clean it up first, and then we'll come back.
So we got a motion to defer. We got a second. We need roll call for this? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Item carries. Thank you, sir, for listening to us. Appreciate it. It's not a hard fix. You'll see. Okay. Yes, sir. Is it about the item we just finished, Fred?
Yeah, I think you missed that. Maybe his point.
Can't deny.
I'm Fred Rose. I was born in this city 86 years ago. I served on the council here for 16 and a half years as council and mayor member. What these people just brought up is a junkyard. It's a located junkyard now, and it looks like heck. I think if they came here with a decent proposal, brought some drawings to show you what it's going to look like. We've got one right in back now that I sold to people. I had a roof truss company. I sold it to these people, and it made it into a fine junkyard. And you go by there and look at it today as a critic. The city council made them put, and this gentleman right here, made them put a fence around it. It's a beautiful building. It's a beautiful facility. They don't have any trouble with the parking. They don't have any trouble with the entrance and exits. And I think somebody would come back and bring a decent proposal and show you something.
I agree.
But you're just asking to change something and you don't even know what's going to happen, you know.
Right.
It's nothing wrong with what they're trying to do.
I agree.
A lot of people make a living now hauling junk, and we've got a lot of it in Homestead and a lot of it in Dade County. But I think if these people brought you back a proposal to show you what we're talking about, let's see what we're talking about. Just like we brought up about the parking, you know, right now there's only one entrance and then one exit. You'd have to have more than that if you're going to do the thing. This other place has an exit and an entrance, and it's not in trouble with the parking at all.
And it's actually got grass out front.
I'm not in that neighborhood. I got a paper for you. I'm a neighbor of theirs. I'm not against it, and it's good to have something like that to recycle this junk. But you need to have something more refined. You need to see a plan, see what the outside's going to look like. It looks like heck now. You go by there, there's just a block wall up about 8 foot high. You got to dress it up a little bit, plant some flowers, plant some trees or something.
No
I'm
stucco.
just voicing my opinion,
Thank you.
but I don't see anything wrong with it, really.
Well, I think that's what we said tonight. We don't see anything
I
wrong with
think
the
they
business.
bring
We
you
just-
back a proposal so we know what's going on, you know, but just to ask to change it, you don't know what's going to happen. I don't go for that.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Rhodes. Thank you, sir. Okay, tab 8. 9? 9. Tab 9. I'm going behind. Thank you, sir.
Everybody talk about the city. It's a good city.
Amen.
Born here, I live here, the house I was born in is still here.
Thank you, Mayor.
God bless you.
Take care of all of you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, tab 9.
Yes, Mayor, Council, I'd like to make a recommendation that you all take tab 9, tab 10, and 11 collectively. I'll read the titles, and then you all can talk about them collectively, but take a separate vote on each one, because the facts in the site are the site's the same site. It deals with 2 variances in a site plan for a proposed development, and the background and the history are all collectively the same for each one of these. So I'll read the title for each, and then I'll turn it over to your planning director, who can give you a report and background, and then concluding, you all will vote separately on each item. So tab 9 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the request for a front setback variance from section 30-396.62 Southwest Planned Urban Neighborhood Commercial Subarea Building Placement Setback of the City Code of Ordinances for 792 Homestead Boulevard LLC, located at 792 Homestead Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. Tab 10 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, approving the request of a parking placement variance from section 30-396.62 Southwest Planned Urban Neighborhood Commercial Subarea Parking Placement of the City Code of Ordinances for 792 Homestead Boulevard LLC, located at 792 Homestead Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date. And tab 11 is a resolution of the City of Homestead, Florida, granting site plan approval for an approximately 6,662 square foot retail commercial building located at 792 South Homestead Boulevard, as legally described in Exhibit A and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
I move it, Mayor.
Thank you. Second. Second. Thank you. Staff.
Yes, sir. Staff recommends the mayor and council deny the proposed variances and the site plan. Again, this is a pretty complex issue, so I'm going to try to boil it down into a quick synopsis to lend some clarity to it. But first off, I want to make an initial clarification. The site plan and subsequent variances have nothing to do with the development of the 7-Eleven. The 7-Eleven had its certificate of use approved a while back and has been in the building department for quite some time. In fact, is now open. And so this and that are 2 different things, except for the fact that the applicant wants to build 2 new buildings on the site and needed to go through a site plan review for those. So again, there are 3 primary issues, and they're all interconnected, so I'm going to handle them. I'm going to give a brief synopsis, talk about them, and then if you all have individual questions on those, we'll be able to answer them. So they're asking for a variance from the code for the placement of the building. They're asking a variance from the code for the placement of the parking, and they're asking for a site plan review. The variance from the code relative to the placement of the building. The Southwest Neighborhood Code essentially says they want the buildings front on the street, and the applicant wants them far away from the street. The Southwest Neighborhood Code says you can't have a building any further than 15 feet from the street. The applicant would like their building to be over 100 feet from the street. It's about 700% variance. The variance from the parking placement standards. The code wants the parking behind the buildings. The applicant wants the parking in front of the buildings.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
You going through all of this for denial?
Yes, sir.
Save it.
Save it, because I want this application to go through. These people have been going through this process. They put invested money into my community to bring businesses and opportunities for growth in the Southwest area on the corner of Lucy Street, and I want them to succeed. And whatever we need to do tonight to make sure that happens, whatever variance, I want to make sure we do that. Because the problem I have, we're not being business friendly right now. They've spent money, it's gone on almost a year and some months with this process. Yet we have those issues at play. But then I think at some point in time, we ought to be able to work together and find some medium. And if you're going to sit here and deny them, then why even bring it to us at this state of the game? All due respect, and I really appreciate all the due diligence that you have gone through to do this, but I'm supportive of this project moving forward, not denying it.
Yes, sir. Council Mayor, I'm unable to recommend an
I
approval.
understand I understand what you professionally have done, but I'm telling you, clearly, as a council person that's going to build and bring jobs to my community, it works for my community. It works for the persons and people who need jobs and opportunities over in my community. And so that's what I'm fighting for tonight. I understand what you're fighting for, but I'm fighting for the jobs that's coming over to my area. And so we're on two different playing fields and two different mindsets. And so you're recommending denial, and I'm the opposite of that, because I want them to build, and I want them to succeed in their project.
Understood. I do have a staff report if you all care to hear it. If not, it's your policy decision.
Let Mr. Schilling.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, thank you. I agree that I support the variances that are proposed as far as tab 9 and tab 10 go. Well, the one thing I do want to point out, though, is that I believe that our staff at Planning and Zoning has done their job. I believe the process has worked. Yeah. That the process is that our staff is to analyze it based on the facts, the figures, and the law that is applicable. And I think that Mr. Corradino and Planning and Zoning has done a great job in that. I personally don't want staff making policy decisions. That's my job. That's our job as the council to make the policy. So for me, the process has worked. It has gone through the process. It doesn't comply with the law. It's come before us now for a vote as part of that process. And I agree with my colleague that for this particular area, this particular parcel, the fact that there's an existing building on that parcel, it doesn't make a lot of sense to require you to tear that building down or to otherwise adjust the site, because in this particular location, in my opinion, it makes sense for this particular parcel. So I do agree with the variances, but I also want to say that I think that staff has done a great job as far as making sure the process has worked and has stuck to what I think they should be doing, and that is interpret the law as it exists in the current code and allow us as the policymakers to overrule that when we see fit, which at least myself and my colleagues seem to have said, and we'll see where the rest of the council lies. So I just wanted to make that statement to make sure that the issues were clear.
And let me go back and without any reservation to say that I'm not attacking staff. I'm just letting you know where I am tonight with this, and I don't want to waste any more time with you going through all of this, because I'm not. You're not going to change my mind. I've already made up my mind about you're just doing your job, and that's great, and that's what we pay you all the big bucks to do. But I've already made my determination. But for the rest of my colleagues, feel free to continue to read. But for me, I understand what the problem is. I understand what the issues are, and I'm willing to make those changes or make grant those variants so that they can go with their project and that my community can be much better. Homestead can be much greater. What they're proposing to do, this is going to be the first site that you see when you enter Homestead. Lucy Street is the first street you enter when you enter Homestead from Florida City. They have a great plan. And so I support it wholeheartedly, and I thank staff for what they've done. They've done their due diligence. That is unquestionable. But I'm just, as a policymaker, I'm just going to go against what they're recommending.
Okay, so yes, I'm sorry, you, Mr.
Oh. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to bring up, there seems to be a recurring theme as we work through things over towards the Southwest, and that's that the Southwest master plan always hinders or inhibits people from doing what we would like to see up here. I mean, we're always changing that. So I think at some point, we as a body need to go back and see if that truly fits what we want. because we just changed it with churches, I believe.
Well, we changed
and,
it.
And small businesses and things like that. And here we are again tonight, and I'm being told that it's inhibiting, that its requirements are what's inhibiting this gentleman from maybe moving forward without all these problems.
And to answer your question, Mayor, can I?
Please.
We don't know until these issues come up. It's issues like this that come up that we say the plan is inadequate. It does not meet our standards of what we see as a vision for Homestead, and or what we see as a vision for the Southwest area. And because it, because we don't, see these four things in the future, when we change the plans, we don't see these things forthcoming until we have an issue like this. And so, it's a work in progress. It's just that a plan, and plans can change, and plans are subject to change. That's why they're plans. And so I think with that, and you're absolutely right, John. Sometimes it fits, and sometimes we have issues like this that we have to go back to the plans and look at them again.
Times change. Yes, Ms. Bowman.
No, I was going to, Mr. read my mind. I was going to say the exact same thing, that when this master plan was put in place, we were a much different city. So, and I agree with you, Mr. Williams, that it's as things come up, but I would strongly suggest that, Mayor, maybe you have a review committee of the master plan, because we've had so many things over the last few years that have come up that definitely I think we need to do some changing. So,
I'm all for it. As soon as we get that first sign.
Well, I'm not even going to go there.
I'm looking to make some serious changes. So I agree with you. It's a workshop and waiting for us.
So anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Through the mayor.
Yes.
Just a comment. The Southwest Master Plan was revised in 2009. Am I correct? Is it 2009?
Yes, ma'am.
In 2009. And with all due respect to you, you inherited this Southwest Master Plan,
Nope.
and you have to.
I'm sorry. We made some changes.
The major revision happened in 2009. We made some changes to some of the allowable uses just last year in 2011. Those were relatively minor revisions compared to what had been done. The major change was done in 2009. Yes, ma'am.
And you're implementing this plan and maintaining the integrity of the process. So by you denying it, you're just going by the code. But as I was reading the Planning and Zoning Board minutes, Mr. Powell was very vocal about it. He said that everyone should be entitled to their Slurpees. And Mr. Doris,
Amen.
Mr. Doris mentioned that this project here is just an example of unintended consequences. And the plan in some instances is a bit too restrictive. And I agree with those comments that it can be too restrictive for some applicants. So I'm going to support your moving forward with this project. And I just also would like to reiterate, I know in the Planning and Zoning minutes, you were very vocal about denying this application, and you had went to the extent to say to rescind the Southwest Master Plan if we're not going to uphold it. I don't agree with that. I don't think we should rescind it. I think in instances like this that we have to go back to the table. Let's go back to the table. But I support this item.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any further comment?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Ms. Schilling.
As far as the variances, I support it. I do have some concerns with the site plan itself. The site plan has a lot of what I think are really probably just technical errors in it, but they are some pretty significant errors, and so I'm not comfortable. I personally won't approve the current site plan in its current form because, again, I think, from what I discussed with staff, it shows fences in the driveways. There's a lot of just little minor errors that can be quickly fixed, no problem. But in its current form, I can't vote and say you can build a fence in the middle of a roadway because I can't do that, Right. But if you fix it, I think I could be okay with it. Although I would like to see maybe the fence be a little nicer than a chain link fence and do a little bit more of the landscaping, nicer shade trees, things of that nature. If you could add that to that as well, it'd be great. But that would be my only comment on the site plan portion. In its current form, I think it'd be better maybe to defer it or until we get those technicalities fixed.
May I address that, or do you want me to hold off?
No,
Let me just, for the record, Jeffrey Flanagan, offices at 1450 Madruga Avenue, Coral Gables, and representing the applicant, 792 Homestead Boulevard, LLC. And with me is Mr. Juan Osorno, the owner of the company, the owner of the property. I feel like most of my presentation has been made already. It is unintended consequences. What you have tonight, you have the existing building. We're happy that 7-Eleven has opened. The property has gone back into productive and beneficial use. In order to allow any additional development, these variances are necessitated. They are, in fact, the minimal or nominal variances that are needed in order to create a cohesive development on the property, to keep the building facades together, to allow for cohesive and fluent vehicular traffic through the site and in and out of the property. So they are the minimal that is required. We appreciate the support. And Councilman Shelley, as to the other issues on the site plan, there are some there, and they are, unfortunately at this point, purely technical errors that haven't been corrected by the architect. In one of the submittals there, the current conditions seem to reflect the future site plan, which includes the fence and I think a fence across some of the driveway areas. Those aren't going to be there. There's no way you can operate a property like that. So what we would respectfully suggest is that you do approve the site plan tonight. I've spoken with Mr. Corradino about it, and these issues that can't exist on the site plan that happen to show right now, we're going to continue working with staff and remove those, resolve those in some form or fashion. And I do want to say your staff has been very diligent in reviewing this. I've recently been brought on board on several issues on this property. They are extremely helpful, very responsive, and I appreciate all of their help as I've been brought up to speed on this. And so we want to keep working with them and respectfully suggest that in accordance with your Planning and Zoning Board that you do recommend all 3 items tonight.
Mr. Mayor, just to follow up.
Sure.
As far as the site plan goes, is this a 2 reading or is a site plan 1 reading?
1 reading.
Okay, so I won't be able to vote for it in its current form because to me, once we vote for it, you're free to do what you want. You can enforce that. Not that you would, but at the same time, I think I have an obligation and responsibility to make sure that it's done right. And so if it was 2 readings, I'd vote for it on first reading. You could get it changed and have it ready by second reading. But because it is only 1 reading, I won't be able to support the site plan tonight, but I will support the other 2. So
Understood.
That would be my stance as it stands.
Can we not add a clause?
In there?
The only way to put some, once you approve the site plan, that's it. Unless you put certain conditions on the site plan approval that James might suggest.
We'd have to bring it back before the body, though, right?
Pardon?
Would we have to bring it back before us for a vote?
No, I mean, if you if you don't approve the site plan, then it would have to come back here.
I say approve.
But if you're intending on not having it come back here, then the only way to have any control over it is to impose some conditions on the site plan approval. James, you got any ideas?
Yes, that's what we'd have to do, depending on the issues that perhaps Mr. Corradino or you all can identify. I think in the resolution approving the site plan under the conditions, we would have to list conditions that the applicant would modify the landscaping, modify the fence, modify the dumpsters, or whatever it may be, prior to some trigger date, whether it's issuance of building permit, usually that would be the first step in the process, or within 60 days or 30 days or whatever may be reasonable. Or the alternative is to have the applicant just defer the item this evening, have the applicant revise, and then bring it back to you at the next council meeting.
Okay, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, because the variances have to have 2 readings, right?
No.
Everything's 1 reading.
Everything's a resolution, so it's
Okay.
1 reading.
And then do you have a list of those items that need to be changed as conditions? I mean, could we do that tonight and add all those conditions to it, or?
Yes, sir. There are about 12 different things that need to be corrected on the site plan. I'll read them off to you if you'd like. They include fencing, placement of the building entrance, which is again, all of these things individually are easily worked through, and we come across each of them on just about every site plan that we review, and typically they're corrected and variances aren't necessitated. So I'm confident we can work with the applicant's attorney to get these things cleared up. Rooftop equipment, architectural details, sidewalks, lighting, dumpster screening, dumpster placement, decorative landscaping, parking lot buffer, palm trees, and tree planting areas. All pretty simple things that we should be able to clear up.
Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree, and I just wanted to suggest, if I may, that we have an agreement today on every single item, if it's possible. I mean, I don't want to leave it open-ended.
Right.
You know, I just want to make I want to know today what I need to do, and I will do it. And I'll work with Joe
We're
Cordino.
going to put those 12 conditions
Yes,
into
sir.
the agreement, all right?
Yes, sir. By the way, some of them were already fixed.
That's
One of
okay.
them was the
We'll put them in
fence. The fence is already taken out. So there's just some things that are left to do, but we'll work on them.
Follow Councilwoman Faircloth's, recommendation, we'll move forward. All right, any other questions? Okay.
So if you wanted to include those conditions, if you wanted to include those items, we need to read them into the record, and somebody needs to make a motion.
You want me to open the public hearing first, see if there's a problem there with the public?
However you want to do it.
And then
No
come
problem.
back?
Sure.
Okay. I'll open the public hearing at this time. Wait a minute, you've already heard this thing, you're already in the zoning board.
Ed Powell, 745 Southeast 18th Lane. You read our minutes from planning and zoning. We probably had an hour and a half discussion. And one of my board members thought that if we allowed the variance, we were breaking the law, which is what the ordinance read. And I'm saying that's why you have variances, because one size doesn't fit all people. And we even got to the point where, why is that even in the southwest area? It's on a major road, and like most major roads in our city, we have an overlay. We have an overlay on Chrome, we have an overlay on Campbell. We should have that as an overlay section. The next part that you think about it, that code said, put the building 15 feet from the front.
I know.
Now, can you imagine
Couldn't believe that.
people coming down US 1, trying to get in there, someone's backing out, and those cars back, and they fly down US 1. For that thing to be 15 feet from the road would be a disaster. That might fit on some little corner of Maury and 15th Avenue or something. US 1, forget it. That's why you have variances, because one size doesn't fit all. And that's the big discussion. And even we made a recommendation that to the council that you might look at the Southwest Master Plan. We don't think anything's ever come of it, major. So our recommendation was that we go back and look at that plan.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your logic, and thank your board, all right? Thank you for your logic. Okay, any further questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any final questions from council?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion well, are we gonna vote on that? Because that'll be the third thing we vote on.
There's three actions that you'll will need to take. The first is on the variance for the building placement. The second is for the variance on the parking. And the third is the site plan. So when we get to the site plan, we can deal with the...
Okay,
Mayor,
so...
I guess my,
yes,
my question I was going to ask was, could we approve the variances and just defer the site plan?
Yes, you can.
And I guess, the reason is we want them to move forward. I mean, I think we're all in agreement on moving it forward, but just again, the site plan we're just going to hold back. I mean, if we could defer it so they could just bring it back the way we need it.
It's totally within the purview for you all to do that. You can defer action on the site plan, have the applicant work with staff on the identified issues, and then bring a revised site plan that has all those issues addressed so that there's not a laundry list of conditions in the development order.
Just another form of what we want to do.
Mayor?
Yes.
Can I be recognized?
Yes, Mr. Ross.
I think if we've already identified what those 12 issues are, you said there are 12 issues with the site plan, right?
Yes, sir.
And before they can move forward, they will have to correct those issues on the site plan, correct?
Yeah, well, we would like them to, yes, sir.
It's okay.
Yes.
One thing if I could offer is that it might be easier and quicker if you do defer, just in case there is any dispute between the staff's interpretation of whether they met the conditions or not. And if everybody knows that this has to be on the next meeting and you're going to be voting, at that point it forces everybody to deal with it. If the staff disagrees, it's still before you. You vote on it. This way we don't end up with a logjam where the staff may disagree with whether they've met the conditions of approval. Whereas if they have this time period to fix them and bring it back, if the staff disagrees, you can still vote the site plan as supposed to. putting this back.
So you're saying vote on everything but the site plan?
And then defer it till the next meeting. This way it gives everybody an opportunity to do their thing, and they either get it done or they don't, and then you ultimately decide.
We've been discussing about the exact same thing. When I heard some of these conditions, they seem a little obtuse, and I would prefer to have everything narrowed down rather than be a condition of the approval. So as long as we can be back at the next meeting, we will sit down with staff and we will have the obvious and easy ones cleared up, hopefully all of them cleared up, and if we can't, we'll be back for the final approval, and we can get the fence and the gates out of the driveways, et cetera. So,
Okay, so
it's,
you're okay with,
we're okay with the approval of the 2 variances, and then the deferral to hopefully the next meeting, if I may ask when that is, for the site plan approval.
Yeah, it had to be date certain, which the next council meeting is, Madam Clerk.
16th of January.
January
Yeah.
16th.
May I say that we need to put our agenda packages together in 2 weeks before the council meeting. So we need to keep that calendar in mind. I mean, I'm checking the date on that right now.
so you're saying that you might not be able to get it ready by the 16th?
I'm ready right now.
So another, I think what Joe is saying is
We'll be
if
ready.
they could get their changes in within 2 weeks, that would be helpful, so we can
Okay, he's
process
ready,
them.
so you can be ready.
In other words, he's saying y'all need to make sure y'all stuff it together.
Right. And did,
I tell you.
Yep, we agree, we can do it.
okay, 2 weeks, and let's keep some email communication going back and forth.
No problem.
Okay. All right, so we're going to vote tonight on tab 9 now. Individually, we're going to vote on each one of these?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. So, Madam Clerk, call the roll on tab 9.
Okay, let's just be, I just want to be clear that the recommendation by staff is denial, but the motion is for approval.
Approval. Correct. Correct. Okay. Just say yes for approval, no for no. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Wallman,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess,
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick,
Yes.
Councilman Shelley,
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
It's approved.
Okay, yes, okay. That's tab 10. Just vote on? You
So
vote,
the next item is a motion for
Okay.
approval for the second variance, which is
So
tab
you don't
10.
think I should open it to the public at all?
No, I think, is there any member that would ask?
Yeah, please. I mean, time out, guys, you're killing me over here. I was like, okay, we got staff report, we know where we're at on that, okay? Questions from council on tab 10? Hearing none, I'll open the public hearing. Question from the public on tab 10, car number 693, parking placement variance. Hearing none, seeing none, I'll close public hearing. The final questions from council. Okay, yes means you approve it,
Do we have
no
a
means you don't.
motion on this one, Elizabeth?
I move
No,
that,
we don't have a motion.
Okay.
I move that we approve tab cards 693.
Okay. We got a second by Patricia Faircloth McCormick. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick.
Yes.
Councilman Shelley.
Yes.
Councilman Williams.
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado.
Yes.
Councilwoman Wallman.
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
The variance is approved.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay, so tab 11.
Move to defer it.
Okay, motion to defer. Second.
For a date certain,
Date
the
certain.
next council meeting.
Is the 16th, yeah.
Of January
January
2013.
2013.
I'll second or no one has a
Okay,
second.
we got a motion and a second. Should I do public hearing on this since it's deferred? No. Okay, it's deferred. All in favor we can do on it? All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Nays? Okay, the item's deferred until the 16th.
Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
I wanted to say thank you all. Thank you.
Let's bring us some jobs. Some jobs.
So Mayor, that concludes your quasi-judicial items.
12's gone, so 13.
Tab 12 is deferred, so moving on to tab 13. Tab 13 is the second reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amend the City Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 6, Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 3, Permits, Division 1, generally, Section 6-37, contractors to register with the city after renewal of local business tax receipt, to provide for amendments to the registration requirements related to contracting firms, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is second and final reading.
Move car 672.
Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you. Staff?
Yes, sir. We recommend the mayor and council approve the proposed ordinance amending Chapter 6 Buildings and Building Regulations, Article 3 Permits, Division 1, generally, Section 6-37. Essentially, this is, our code currently requires that contracting firms qualify appear in person to complete their annual registration, and we're loosening that so that they can complete their annual registration not in person. And we recommend approval.
Okay. Questions, council? Hearing none, seeing none. Public hearing. Open the public hearing to the public. Questions on this item from the public? Car number 672. Hearing none, seeing none. I'll close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Okay, Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick.
Yes.
Councilman Shelley.
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Car 699.
Yes, tab 14 is the first reading of an ordinance of the City of Homestead, Florida, amending the City Code of Ordinances to provide for Division 3 zoning relief procedures of Article 2, administration of Chapter 30 zoning, to provide for a procedure to address actions which may result in possible violations of federal and state laws in the implementation of the Code of Ordinances or its related rules, policies, and procedures, repealing Section 30-476, reasonable accommodation procedures of Division 4 standards for housing for specific occupancy of Article 4 supplemental district regulations of Chapter 30 zoning, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date. This is first reading.
Motion.
Move it.
Thank you. Second. Thank you. Staff?
We recommend the mayor and council approve this ordinance. This is to include zoning relief procedure to address actions which may result in possible violations of federal and state laws in the application of the code and its related rules, policies, procedures. This proposed amendment provides preventive procedures to protect the city from legal challenge and facilitates the resolution of disputes. Essentially, what this does is it expands the definition or the implementation of the reasonable accommodation process. This deals with First Amendment rights, American with Disabilities Act issues, fair housing issues, things in the nature of applicants' rights. And what these procedures do is provide us the case-by-case review basis so that we can evaluate claims if they're made, so that we can cure them before they go any further.
Questions from council? Hearing none. I'll open the public hearing. Questions from the public? Hearing none, seeing none, I close the public hearing. Final questions from council. Madam Clerk?
Vice Mayor Burgess.
Yes.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick.
Yes.
Councilman Shelley.
Yes.
Mayor Bateman.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Okay. Next item, City Attorney.
16.
16.
You have
Discussion of, staff.
discussion, the mayor's council and council staff before my
Oh, that's right. Here we go. Number tab 16, discussion of mayor and council staffing.
Mayor?
Yeah, that's me.
Members of my colleagues, I asked to place this on the agenda tonight simply because many of us,
Because we're dying.
most of us, all of us, have very complex scheduling and events that we all do. And I don't know about you, but sometimes it's tough to get your things out on time. And I think, frankly, I think we need to have an honest and open discussion about our staffing issues as it relates to responsibilities, accountability, and persons that work for the mayor and council as staffing. Each of us have our own committees and our own agendas by which we fulfill our policies or legislative responsibilities in the community, and we can't do it simply just on our own, but we have incredible staff support and help to help us, enable us to do our job the best of our ability. But the problem that I'm finding, that I'm having, or not so much personally, but that I see, is the turnover rate that we have in the office as it relates to personnel staff. I can't keep up with the temps. I'm just being frank. I come on a meeting date, there's a new temp, new person, and I know I have different things or letters and different things I need to be sent out, and some of the responsibilities I know include answering the phones, getting letters out, scheduling meetings, keeping track of events, ordering tickets, taking care of all of our accounts, paying our bills, and authorizing trips, processing reimbursements, processing bills, preparing correspondences, all of that stuff for each and every last one of us, 7 people. And they do it with 2, 3 people. I don't know how Patty did it for so many years. We were a city of 22,000 people. Now we're a city of 62,000. And our responsibility has increased. I have several committees. My colleagues, you all have several committees. And I think we need to have an open dialogue and discussion about our staffing and the workload. And I think that in order for us to be able to do our jobs effectively, we've got to have consistency in our staffing. And at this point, I just don't see that. And let me say this. The girls that we have back there, Lourdes and Marisol, and what's the other young lady's name? Maria, thank you. They do great jobs. Let me tell you, they do Hercules of a job to try and keep up with all of our stuff. We got toy drives going on. We have Martin Luther King breakfast coming up, and all other kind of issues. And they have to take minutes for all of our meetings, all of our boards and committees that we're on, and then be able to do all of that, plus handle the office day to day. You can't possibly do it with the kind of staff that we have at this point in time. And so I know it's the 100-pound gorilla on the wall nobody wants to talk about, because it involves money. And it involves staffing issues, and it involves personnel. And I think this is the time that we need to have a really frank, honest discussion about where we go from here and what we need. And it may be a time that where we may need our own staffing person per council person. Some of you all may not need your own. Some of you all may not be busy like some of us. I don't know. You have to speak for yourself. But I know for me, I know getting my correspondence out, and I'll give you one example. And I'm not picking on anybody of my colleagues up here. But if there is a pressing issue or an event coming up this weekend, and I need letters to go out to elected officials who were just elected, my letters are not going to be sent out this week. You know why? Because your event is going to be more important, because that's tomorrow. So guess who sacrificed? Me, because my stuff can't get done. Because your event has been placed in priority. Does that make your event more important than what my stuff needs to be done? No, it doesn't. But I give respect to my colleague, because I say their things, my things can wait, such as letters can go out later on. But their event is coming up, so you work on their stuff. But then, when does the time come to my issues that need to be addressed? Or, so I think we need to have a frank and honest discussion, because the way it's working now, it's not working. It's not working, and I cannot be an effective council person the way it's going. And that is no fault of the current persons that work for us now. They do the best they can. They do an incredible job, but they need help. And nobody wants to talk about it. So I said, I'm putting it on the agenda. Put it on me. I did it. So I open it up to the floor to my colleagues. And let the chips fall where they may.
I'll jump right in.
Thank you.
You know, a few months ago, I recall, and I brought it to city manager, and you know, asking for more staff, and he said it's really up to us. He wasn't against it, and but I've always seen the need since day one that I've entered my position as a city councilman, and you know, I saw how Patty and all those staff that's been with us, how hard they work and how late they work. But, you know, I'm not saying I need more help because they're working too hard. I'm saying that we need more help because what they do affects our community and the people that we serve. And so we're not effectively responding to our constituents because our staff are basically our executives. You know, we're trying to get things done, and they're the ones who are executing our actions that we need done. And so, and Councilman Williams is correct that as events come up, I know I just had my education committee summit that just was last month, and I know these ladies were working extra long hours, and everyone had to get on board to make this happen. But again, you know, the importance of what they did was far-reaching because we're working to make a difference in education. So, in essence, you know, what they do, they're an extension of who we are and what we do. So, again, I support this whole, you know, I support this discussion, Councilman Williams, because I brought it up in the past, and I think we just brought in maybe one other temp to help out because we had 3 before, and then we brought another temp. But you know, so I just want to go on the record again as I support this. What we do is important.
Can I say one other thing? And I think it may be a difference because of benefits and stuff. The problem I have with temps is that the training of them, I don't know, and maybe it's just because I'm not familiar with it, and it could just very well be my me not being educated on it. But I don't know if they come and go. I don't know how it works, but it doesn't work for me. It's not, it doesn't work for me. And for, you know, some reason, you know, I think we need something a little bit more stable. And I just, you know, it doesn't work for Jimmy. That's all I'm saying.
Your turn. Go ahead.
Well, I think the problem's a lot bigger than what we're talking about tonight. And this is open discussion, and no, as Jimmy said, Councilman Williams said, no disrespect to anybody. But I can tell you that as senior member of council, and having lived here since I was 8 years old in this community, everybody knows my phone number. And in order for me to get back to all the people that I have to get back to, in order for me to answer people's questions, in order for me to address problems, it's very taxing. And I just lost, Mr. Shelley and I just lost our assistant because of overwork and, you know, health issues. And, you know, we're busy. We are really busy. When I first took council in 2001, we were a population of maybe 18,000 people, and struggling to be 18,000 people because we were still recovering from Hurricane Andrew. And in that period of time, in these 12 years, I mean, we're 62,000 people now, and 62,000 people who look to the 7 of us for guidance and for information. And nobody's happy until they've met with you. You know, I mean, that's just the bottom line. But I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to give you a specific example, but I'll give you a hypothetical example. I was in the middle of a big event. Another council person was in the middle of a big event. and it's because of communication. You know, the other council person didn't realize that my assistant was very busy, and so she was pulled off to be put on another project. But we don't communicate within each other. In other words, that person didn't know that I had a lot of things going on. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very confusing. It's very complex, and I think that all goes back to what the charter says, and that is that this staff should be regulated and supervised by the city manager. And I mean, people. I never know who's going on vacation. I never know who's off to this conference or that conference. Have they had the proper training? You know, I don't know these things. I just don't know. I know that there may be some council people that feel that they don't need a full-time person. I personally could keep a full-time person busy. I don't think it's fair I mean, if we're gonna have them, everybody should have the opportunity to either have one or not to have one. But it's a good, healthy discussion, and you can see where there's a sense of lack of communication. Because, for example, if I came into the mayor and staff offices and I said, okay, I have a huge project, I'm going to pull you, and you to work on my project, I need it done by Thursday, I might not know that Vice Mayor Burgess has a project, or that Councilwoman Fairclough McCormick has a project that she's working on, or has correspondence that's pending that's been needing to go out for some time. So you see, there's a horrible lack of direction, lack of communication. So I'll wait to hear what my colleagues say, but that's just what I think right at this point.
Well, I'll keep mine simple, and that is, I'd like to have my own assistant. This town requires a lot out of its mayor. A lot. The staffing requires a lot out of the mayor. How many times a week do I get called? The signatures need to be done. And I make her wait and wait. And it's incredible. And all of you have your opportunity to be mayor one day. The difference from being mayor with the citizens is night and day. Everybody calls the mayor's office first. They don't get response, then they call your office. But they call the mayor's office. And I do my best to respond to everyone. No matter where they're at in this city, they can tell you, I call them back or I go to their house. I do the best I can. But if I'm sharing someone and I'm on a project, I'm the first one to say, go help them. And my stuff gets pushed back. Just like Jimmy said, was well put, Mr. Williams. My stuff keeps getting pushed back. Keep getting pushed back. I have like 30-something pages of items that we've halfway done or partially done. You know, just the everyday stuff that happens. 16 phone calls, we took an average, 16 phone calls a day. 6 or 7 places I'm at during the week. It's incredible if you really are going to do the job and do a good job. And I don't want to take it from anyone else because we all work hard, but I'm all for everybody having their own assistant. If you don't want it, if you don't need a full-time assistant, then just be honest and say, I don't need it. As I'm all about saving money at the same time. But I'm telling you, I'm working my buns off. My business is down 30% because I'm working harder than I probably should be working for the city of Homestead for my $6,000 a year. But I do it out of love for the city of Homestead, and I do it out of my heart. But we have a real problem here, and eventually we're gonna be like, and we all get along, but we're all gonna be pulling at each other because we got 2 people in there that can do the job right now. And you really only got, since we're all going to talk honestly here, you really only got one person. And I had that discussion with HR. I don't think you realize it, including when Anna was here. There was only one person that could do all the bills at one time. One, and that's the God's truth. And she'll tell you that. Now, we finally get other people that can do a few bills and do a few things. But that one person scrambled around to help everybody. You know, at the same time, handle my stuff and handle Mr. Williams' stuff. Not fair. We're going to burn these people out one after another. You're going to burn them out because they are working both ends to try to please everybody. Oh, I've got a SWAC. I've got this. I've got that. I'm going to tell you, today, because they were scrambling so fast, I was out shopping, looking for something we needed to make everything go right here tonight. And I shared that with Councilwoman McCormick. I wanted it to go right. You didn't know about it. Wasn't a big deal to you that something wasn't going to work out just right? It was a big deal to me. Big deal. And I think that your staff is well set, and I don't want to pick on you, but you got a solid staff in your office and around you and outside you. And I think this council deserves equal. This council deserves equal. And I think each one of you should speak up tonight.
If I can just chime in on that. I know that by virtue of our office, it's a part-time job. So many would say, you're part-time, why would you need a full-time staff? Well, let me just preface my comment by saying, I love my job. I really enjoy what I do. And I've mentioned this to the city manager. If there's one thing that I do not like, it is the office of the mayor and council, the staff. It just does not work for me. I am extremely active. I have the Mayor's Youth Council, the CRB, nonprofit, Centennial, Oasis, meetings. I'm very visible. I'm not photo-oppy. I know that's not a word. I'm not photo-oppy. I'm hands-on. But I feel the staff that we have can't keep up, just cannot keep up. I find myself doing a lot of my own work. Many of you get emails from me, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6, midnight. Public record, look it up. You get emails from me all times of the night because I'm up trying to carry the load. But it's a lot, and my body is telling me. I wasn't here last week. I was sick, I was exhausted because it's not working. It is frustrating to me. Vivian can tell you I've been calling her. George, I've been calling him. It is not working. So it has to get fixed in every sense of the word. And I would support having one staff person, if your job or what you're doing warrants it, one staff person, if you need it. I need it because I'm active. I like to personalize my service for this community, and everything I do, I have high expectations for myself. I'm hard on myself, and I have high expectations for anyone who's associated with my work. So I'm not pleased with the office of the mayor and council, period.
Thank you. Well put.
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Shetley?
I guess I'll chime in. You know, I kind of agree with what some of my colleagues say as far as I don't think the system works with what we have. I mean, right now, there are issues. I mean, there's communication issues, there's accountability issues, it's hard to get your stuff done. You know, you give people tasks, and then they've got to help other people, and they're torn between all of us at the council level. So I agree that the system is not working, that it's broken. As far as the fix goes, I don't know what that fix is. You know, my first question is, what do other cities do? I mean, what do other similar sized cities have? Do they all have assistants? Do they all have different staff members? How do they manage? How do they get the stuff done? Because I assume other council people in other cities are also very active, just like we all are. And so I guess my first question is what's the precedent? How is this handled in other places? Because I know that when I speak to other cities, you know, a lot of them say they don't even have one assistant, you know, or they only have one for all of them, or they have. So there's many different ways I think that this is handled, and I don't know what the right answer is. I don't know what the solution is, but I'm as frustrated, I think, as my fellow council members are as far as how the system is currently working. And it's one of those things where I don't know that I support all of us getting an individual staff member for the cost perspective more so than the actual functionality, because I think we all could put one to work. I know I could. I know if everyone else is getting one, I need one too, because I'm not going to have my constituents suffer if everyone else has an assistant. But at the same time, I don't know that I'm advocating for an assistant because, again, I think that the cost is great. I mean, you're talking, I think the temp we pay is $20 an hour. There's no health benefits, but that's, you know, 40-hour weeks, that's $42,000 a year for one person. You know, we need to add at least 4 more temps or 4 more full-time staff members. So you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars plus your benefits that you add into that. And so that's hard for me as a council person to make that decision, knowing the economic times that we're in. And so that's kind of where I'm torn, is fixing the problem, but also not, you know, can you justify that extra expense for the extra productivity? I don't know. And I would like to see what other cities are doing. Similar sized cities, similar budgets, you know, how are they handling these circumstances? How are they getting their stuff done? Are they getting their stuff done? And so those are questions that I have that I think need to be looked into to help solve or help me wrangle with this issue.
Can I touch on one thing? It's a good point you bring up. I serve on 5 different boards. 5. The one board I serve on, downtown Miami, MPO, you have to be 50,000 or more people to serve on that board. Every single mayor that walks in there, except for yours truly, which I don't mind because I do my own little recording there or whatever, show up with an assistant. Every single one. Turn it on TV, you can watch it. We got one coming up Thursday, tomorrow. Every one of them did. Some of them are barely 50, 52,000. We're 62,000 people. I show up. I've taken my assistant in 3 years, one time. One time. The whole place applauded. Wow, you do have help. I don't have help. I don't have help. And what really bothers me is some of the staff, even in your office, they constantly send them back down to our office. They're not all our issues. It's a power issue. It's a water issue. It's this issue. We don't have time for all that. But because they put that word mayor to it, our vice mayor, our council, that's the door. Go down there. That's got to stop, George. That's not our job. You know, it is our job when they come face to face to us or they call us on the phone. That window of yours needs to start handling some people. Simple as that. Because we're just overwhelmed down there. I spent 5 days in a row here once, anywhere from 5 to 8 hours. I was amazed what walked in and out of that door. I was amazed at what sat in that lobby. And our staff, answered 90% of it. 90% of it. So it's not just staffing up for us. I think that we need to find out where this stuff should really fall. You should get involved and figure out where it should fall. We should not be out in the lobby with some lady who's crying her eyes out about her electric or water bill. That's the city manager's job. Step up. You step up, you get to the problem, you solve it. And we do a lot of that. A lot of it. This lady was here tonight, called mayor and council's office. She stayed through the whole meeting. Never met. I saw maybe Home Depot. You said I remembered you from. I don't even remember you from Home Depot. But where'd you call? Mayor's office. Did you call the manager's office? Yes, I did. And did he answer you? Maria. Yeah. Yes. You called the mayor's office. Yeah. Yes. And it's just we're overwhelmed, and you're crushing the 2 people in there. I'm shocked they stayed. I am shocked. I tell the audience, I am shocked that these people stay with us because we are crushing 2 to 3 people. The temp makes $10 an hour. You might say it costs us $20. We got somebody making $10 an hour who's hired to be a receptionist, and she's doing the same job that the other ones are doing. She's handling a council person or 2 at $10 an hour, not $51,000 a year. There's no organization there. And that's why I said at the beginning to you, council, we needed to take staff over. We needed to put something together and manage these people. We're the ones that work with them every day. We're the ones that should do the evaluation on how they're doing and what they're not doing. The manager didn't have time to oversee that, obviously, because it's not happening now. But I'm very frustrated, and I'm working very hard, and I'm not going to stop working hard because that's just me. And I love my job, as Faircloth McCormick said, I love my job and I want to answer everybody, and I can't do it with the resources that I have right now. I can't do it. And when I called the HR director the other day, I know you probably thought that I was losing my wits end, but I had 2 major projects going on, and I have the assistant city manager come down to my assistant and say, can you do these minutes? It just was too much for me. It's why I called you. So I'm really kind of apologizing. I was just asking for some help. Find somebody else because my projects are going to get done today. And I sat in that office so nobody would stray her away to something else. I sat there at that computer and went down each and every one of them until I got them done, until I got the people answered that need to be answered.
Through the mayor, I just want to add, Councilman Shelley, I know you mentioned cost as a factor, and I recognize that, and I'm very conscious of that. I'm the one I like to reach a happy medium. If we can reach a happy medium to make this, to rectify these issues and get it to work, I'm willing to listen and oblige that. But we're hemorrhaging right now, and we need help in order for all of us to continue to be effective or more effective at what we're doing.
And you, yes, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I stirred this conversation up, but you know, I think I put it on the agenda because we can talk about it today, and then we'll be talking about it in January, and we'll talk about it in February. Then we'll be asking for numbers, and we'll be asking for stats.
Make a motion.
Yeah.
I'm prepared.
You know, I need to know where we all stand. Everybody has said what they've said, but I've thought about other remedies. To Councilman Shelley's, you know, what you stated about the cost factor, and I'm not picking on anybody, but Dennis, how many secretaries do you have in your office?
I have 4.
4.
How many's the manager got?
Yeah. You know, so.
No, he's got 4, 2 assistant city
You
managers.
know, but he has 6 departments. But
and 1 over in CRA. He's got 5.
But what I'm saying is, you know, I think our jobs are just as important as any other department.
More.
You know, I think we're all equal as it relates to that, and that we all deserve the same type of professionalism, staff that is entitled to every office. And I think it's been a long time discussion, you know, thought about and all that. But, you know, tonight I think we need to make some kind of decision and move forward with some kind of a plan of action. And so those persons, you know, I don't know where we go from here, but I need to make a motion that we move forward with our own assistance, and that is my motion as it stands.
Okay, I'll second that for discussion, Mr. Yes.
No, one thing that I think would help me along this situation is, and this isn't to overburden our HR department, but as Dennis says, he's got 4 people. Are they being used effectively? Are they there? Is there somebody that can transfer? Is there any way you guys can come up with some sort of plan for us? Let us know what, looking at it, seeing the situation, looking throughout the city, are there people that can do, are we using, I guess what I'm trying to say, is everybody being used to their fullest other than that's not up here where people are looking for help? And, you know, I think maybe HR could come up with a little bit of a plan for us and look at it. I mean, that's what their specialty is supposed to be, and maybe help us along with this situation as we come up with ideas.
Oh.
That's all.
I'll do, Mayor?
I'm not prepared to stop.
Mayor?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I'll do respect to Vice Mayor Burgess. We had this discussion, and then we said we'll add a temp or 2, right? Am I right, Madam Director?
We added 1 more.
We added 1 more. And what happened? She's still there. And we still have the same problem? Obviously, because we're back at the table talking about it, and it's not gotten any better.
One of them left us.
Right? And so we had 4 originally, right? Started with 4. But the workload, however, my bottom line is that we're still back at the table, and we can go into HR and know they're, but I think we went that route, and we said add another person so that the workload can be, you know, relieved or delegated responsibilities, and we're still back at square one.
Mayor.
Well, we've got a motion and a second on the floor. We're going to discuss it further, but I think, again, if you don't feel like you need someone full-time, there's nothing wrong with that, then you share one. But I'm going to tell you again, I'm asking council, I'm desperately asking you that I need my own full-time person. I cannot answer all the calls. I cannot take care of all the stuff that's at hand. I cannot handle 5 different committees with sharing my assistant with not one person, sometimes 2 and 3. Sometimes phone calls, why aren't you helping me? Well, because I thought we all paired off at one time and everybody was pretty happy. It didn't seem to work very well that way. So why go back into that? Why go back into what didn't work? There's a motion on the floor. There's a second. Ms. Wallman, you want to say something? Go ahead.
Okay. Again, I can tell you that when we just lost our assistant, that I believe, Vivian, I'm not trying to speak for you, but you went, I mean, if that had been an alternative, that would have happened, you know, to pull somebody from someplace else. Also, it's not just pulling somebody from someplace else. I mean, it takes a very specific talent to be able to work with the people, to be able to answer the questions, to be able to even represent us sometimes. Talk about business falling off. I'm going to tell you how my business is falling off, because I give 100% to this council seat. And but again, I don't want to be the end all. I think we should follow the charter. The charter says it falls under the manager's office. I think it's hard having 7 bosses, because even if we do have 7 assistants, when that person's out on vacation, she or he is still going to have to answer to other council people. So there has to be an organized chart, you know, a supervised chart. I don't know how my colleagues feel about that, but I mean, it's out of control. It really is. It's really, really bad. And I very seldom sit up here and complain, but it is really bad. I am so far behind in correspondence. I am so far behind. I apologize to people. I do all the time. But most importantly, they still have to work together, because when there is a big project and you know, sometimes we all have to pull together and say, go and do what you have to do. But I can support that, you know, if we go ahead and all of us, you know, talk about that supervision thing. So, thank you.
Thank you. When we do have a big project, we all pull together, and we pull together as an entire city staff, and no different than the State of the City address. We didn't just use our staff. We reached out to everyone who wanted to be part of it. We asked Dennis, how many of your people want to be part of it? 2 or 3 people raised their hands. We asked customer service. We asked power plant. We asked everybody. Everybody should join in when you have, you know, the State of the City and or educational day and or the event we had downtown with John Cicada. We all pitch in. Somebody's on vacation, that's typical. That's going to be normal. Hopefully we get a temp that steps in for that person while she's on vacation. You get a temp, and at the same time, we try to help each other. But it can't continue on like this. You know, I think the closest that any one person up here had their own one-on-one, and that was you, Ms. Wallman. Oh yeah, at one time, Anna Panecki pretty much worked for you and only you.
No, that is not true,
Well,
Mayor.
that was pretty obvious for
And I think
many,
there's
many
people on
months
this
there.
dais that can certainly say
Well,
that that isn't true.
I don't want to bring them into it. That's my own opinion, all right? And I'm just venting my own opinion right there.
Well, why would you say
Because
something
I
like
say that you basically
not.
did. Well,
I did not.
well, all right. Anyway, Mr. Williams, you got a motion on the floor?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mr.
Like one last comment.
Sure, please.
My concern with this motion and this second tonight is that I can't support it in its current form, because I don't, again, I have a blank discussion piece of paper. I don't have any facts. I don't know how much this assistant's going to cost us. I don't know what the overall cost is. I mean, there's too many things I don't have information about. I can't make a decision without pros and cons. And so for me to just go forward and approve a motion for an assistant without knowing the ramifications, I can't do it. And so I'm going to vote no for those principal reasons. I would prefer to have staff gather these numbers so that I can look at it, weigh it, and say, you know, maybe that's worth going for, or maybe I'll still say no. But I can't, I asked for it the last time we had this discussion, and I have no facts and figures. And so there's no facts and figures for me to go after. I can't make that decision, so I won't, and so I'll be voting no.
Councilman Shelley.
Thank you, sir.
Who'd you ask for those figures from? Who'd you ask from that? Who'd you ask?
At the last time we discussed adding a temp or a full-time person, I also recommended that we have a data put together to find out how much that person's going to cost before I could approve it.
Right, but
we never had a second discussion. We never had a presentation. This is the second time that we've discussed.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
But my question is, who did you ask for that information? Who was supposed to come back to us to give us that?
When we had a second discussion on this, it was going to be provided. We never had a second follow-up discussion on the issue. This is the second time we've discussed this issue, and I am again asking for the facts and figures before I make a decision. Now, this was put on the agenda
by me,
by you.
Without any of the other stuff that you're adding to it.
That is correct.
Right.
So I can't make that decision tonight on your motion.
No, it's
because
fine.
I don't have the
'cause you
information.
have
I just
vote.
want to make sure it's
Yeah.
clear. That's
Yeah,
all.
no.
Yes.
No, what I'm trying to get at, if you ask staff for that, then staff needs to be held accountable. If you ask staff to come back to you with certain things, and they've not come back to you, it is not my fault because
No,
I
no,
added
I'm not
on
saying
the
it
agenda.
is. What I'm saying is that
Okay.
I asked the general question before this
Right.
was discussed again to come back.
Right.
And we never had the second discussion.
Right.
Had we had this itemized as a second discussion on that item, I would have
Right.
held staff responsible because it should have been part of the informational packet. But it
Right.
has not been put on, as far as I know, as an agenda item other than tonight.
Right, okay.
And so what I'm saying is without it, I cannot make that decision. I just think it's irresponsible to do so.
Right, no, I just want to make sure, if any time that you ask staff to come back to you with something, it should come back before the next meeting prior to, not waiting till somebody adds something on the agenda to discuss it.
Mayor,
It should already be, well, I'm sorry, may I still have the floor, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Can I finish my conversation
Yes, sir, I
first?
just wanted to put that on the floor so I could get
Oh,
it right after.
I'll yield then.
You know, I'm gonna go, sorry, I mean, Jimmy, excuse me for jumping in, but, you know, I'm with you on this one because I think we've had.
I'm polite.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. But, you know, the point here is that we've had discussions, we've wanted discussions, we have had not have discussions. And now we're gonna go back to, back to the table, drawing board, numbers and all this, and at the end of the day, who are the ones that suffer is the people, the people that we represent are the ones that are not getting the attention that they need. So I want to just put on floor that I want to move forward with this. I'm fully supporting in this because I know that when we have that person helping us, we're going to make a world of a difference for the people who we serve. You know, is it going to cost money? Yes, but it's going to make a difference, and that's where the people vote us. You know, they put us up here so that we can make a difference. Besides making policy decisions, you know, we represent our communities, and we're not able to represent our communities the proper way because the ones who do the job for us, again, are our assistants and they help us. I need help in order to make things happen in this community. And so, you know, I'm fully supporting this motion on the floor right now to move forward with this. I know we're going to get the numbers, but at the end of the day, we're going to make a difference. And that's why I'm going to support this as is.
Yeah, I always say, go ahead, please.
I just had a quick question. I need some numbers. How much do we pay for insurance? I'm going somewhere with this. How much is that package? Our insurance?
How much is it? Last year's budget, 16.5 per employee?
No, per employee.
We've got for every individual, it's we've got $14,500 for life and health insurance.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm willing to put some money to the table. I'll forego my insurance packet and some of the other $5,000 for technology to put some money on the table to be able to support this and receive a full-time assistant. I know it's not a lot, but it'll help if that can be done. But I'm willing to forego all that and put some of that money back into the pot for it. If I have to. If it can be done, finance.
I think that's beautiful. That's I don't think it's even necessary. Look, if you look around the city, and if you look how the management of this organization has staffed itself, it's a shame that we are in the position we're in. And I know you don't want me to go there, Ms. Faircloth McCormick, but it's a shame. I'm telling you. And I just say let's move on. It doesn't matter how it's structured tonight. I think we need to direct the manager to go out and do exactly what 4 of us or 5 of us or 6 of us are asking to do tonight. Look, I'm the last person I'd like to spend money. I fought tooth and nail on the $1.3 million we're spending to move out of this building and move 1 mile down the street. It took 2 light changes to get into the parking lot the other day. 2 light changes. $1.3 million. Was no problem there. But you got a council who's crying out, telling you, it's not working. You should have already been all over us. All over us.
Can I be recognized?
No, I'm not finished, and we're not finished. We're going to get our motion before you even go. No. No, you're not recognized. No, I got the floor. I got the floor. I'm speaking. I think it's wrong. I can go out and knock on any door in this neighborhood, and I can say, with solid heart that my full-time assistant is helping you, ma'am, is returning your phone calls, is preparing the paperwork that you need to make this a better place to live. I can do that wholeheartedly, but I cannot go out there on some other issues that we've spent tons of money on.
I ask to be recognized.
Mr. Williams, are you through?
I'm done.
Okay. Mr. Maldonado, are you done? Okay. Go ahead.
I've sat here quietly and
here we go
respectfully
again.
because I truly believe that this is a policy decision and it's yours to make. And I've sat here quietly and I've said nothing. You've had this discussion before, and when you had this discussion before and you asked my opinion, I said, whatever decision you make, it's a policy decision and it's yours to make. This decision has been discussed, this issue has been discussed before, no decision was made. Budget time came, no decision was made. And I think it's okay that you didn't make a decision. I think it's okay if you make a decision today. But to look at me and be angry that somehow this is my fault, I just have to take issue with that, Mayor, because that's what just happened 2 minutes ago. And all I'm saying to you is,
I can answer you when you finish.
I've never said, don't hire anybody. I've never criticized you for wanting more people. But don't look at me and then tell me this is my fault.
You have never even taken one step into that office and looked at what's going on. And you just heard from Councilwoman Wallman that you're responsible and you should be handling this and it should all be under your, if it was all under yours and not ours, we would be in worse shape than we are right now with our staff. You do not get involved. And they all say the same thing. You don't come out of that room and you don't interact with them one bit.
That's not true.
The HR just started getting involved now. That is true. That is very true. You didn't even know some of the things we did that I told you. You didn't know they even existed. You don't even know what we accomplished or didn't accomplish. That is true. I'm telling you honestly, it's a God's truth. You look from the.
I have to disagree with you.
Well, you can disagree all you want with me. You know what?
As you know, the staff falls under the manager's jurisdiction, and I'm very happy to ask your assistant to come and report to me about what kind of workload she has and what she's doing. But in practice, from what I've been told, that's never happened here before. And it's important for the manager's office to make sure that the mayor and council staff are following the city policies and rules. But because this board has oversight, in my opinion, that kind of day-to-day interaction and questioning of your staff is not something that I have felt that this board wants. If that's something that this board wants, we're more than happy to do that. And I've been respectful to not having a system like that and giving broad discretion so that you can have your assistants do your work without interference. And that's okay. But then it's not fair to come around and say, hey, why aren't you asking them what they do? I'm just saying be fair about that, because we've been basically supportive of, if you want more staff, we'll put money in the budget, we'll have more staff. All I'm saying is it's just not fair to turn around and then say, hey, why haven't you done something? Why aren't you supervising the staff? Because we can supervise the staff too, whatever you'd like.
Well, I disagree with you. Yes, ma'am.
I just don't, Mr. City Manager, my comments were not directed towards you. We've had a conversation, and for the record, I don't want you to feel that what I have articulated was pointing the finger at you. It's not pointing the finger at you, because we make the decision, and you put it into place. So I just wanted to state that for the record. I was not pointing the finger at you.
And it was the mayor's remarks that made me feel like he looked at me and said it's my fault, so I felt I had to at least,
Then I blame myself for not getting up quicker and saying it faster and moving faster, because it's been falling apart for over a year. And there have been many people not happy. Okay, we got a motion on the floor. You want to restructure the motion? Okay, we got a second? Madam Clerk, let's do a roll call vote.
Can I ask one question, clarification here?
Sure.
The motion that we're voting on.
That's why I wanted you to reiterate it.
I know to reiterate.
The motion we're voting on is to hire an additional staff person.
No, I can clarify it, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Well, I have a second part of my question.
Okay.
I didn't clarify exactly. But it's under the current charter, correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
No,
And
my motion was for each of us to get our own assistant. That was my motion.
Yeah, I think that if I could, I think it's, if you feel like it's warranted. You're saying that the opportunity for each council person is there if they feel like it's warranted. If not, they can make some other arrangement.
Sure.
And then what I would ask is, at some point, if you could all let me know what your needs are, and then we'd obviously have to come back to you with a budget amendment to fund the positions. In the meantime, if it's your will to fill these positions, we'll start the process immediately, and then we won't fund until we bring the item to you with the funding authorization. And I think the other thing would be helpful as you're giving us direction on the positions. I just want to be clear is when we bring more staff in, assuming that's your decision tonight, are we going to continue with the current philosophy, which is making sure that they follow the rules in terms of days off, the broad rules of the city, but in terms of their day-to-day workload and actually delving into the minutia of what they do, are we sticking with the current system, or are we going to a more hands-on approach from the manager's office? Because I wasn't clear with your remarks, Mayor, what your expectations
So let me clarify them to you, all right? Is that if you are responsible for them, then yes. You make sure that they're, whatever vacation time they have coming up, they take it responsibly. They don't take a vacation and then come back and take 2 weeks off to go to some training facility or training of something that we gave them the opportunity, which has happened here. So yes, you should be on top of it.
Okay, well
I don't think you should be on the top of the day-to-day things that they do for us. That's what they do.
Well, that's the issue I'm asking about, because in the past we have not delved into overtime authorization. We have not delved into asking them to justify why they're doing overtime, where they're going, what they're doing. And so all I'm saying is I haven't delved into that because I didn't feel that.
But it's obvious. It's obvious why they have overtime, right? They don't have enough bodies.
So all I'm asking is are we going under the current supervisory methodology, or are we going to something more hands-on? And I would just ask for direction on that, because you made the point to say that we're not delving into the day-to-day stuff that they do. And that's absolutely true, we do not. Because unlike most every other employee in this organization, because they have, they work for elected officials who supervise us, we have given them a little more latitude on the day-to-day stuff as to not invade your space.
With the day-to-day stuff, I agree with you. You give them that latitude. But when it comes to whatever their comp time or their overtime or their vacation time, there's rules and regulations for all of us. And we follow those rules and regulations.
Okay.
We don't try to tack on and do different things that I've seen happen here in the past.
And if that's the direction of the board, I just want that clarification.
I'll
so
let the
that
rest of the board
moving
tell you.
forward, I understand what the rules are as a continuation of the current supervisory system, or something different.
Mayor?
George,
Yes.
I'm sorry, Mayor.
Ms. Wallen?
I'm just going to voice my opinion, and I say hands-on. I think we really, that's needed. It's needed in that office.
Yeah, it can be hands-on, typically as you run, but my assistant's going to do what I need her to do. Simple as that. As she's doing now, trying to do now, as she gets passed around 4 or 5 different people sometimes, 3 or 4 different people at least. Yes. But no, I think that if we're going with this, everybody has their own assistant, then they're going to go out and do what the daily work is that we've asked them to do. Simple as that.
At the risk, well, I do think that this is a very important issue in terms what basically the way the policy that's been here forever, and in most cities dealing with staff like this, is what I call acquiescence, which is the truth is that these people work for the manager, but as a practical matter, most elected officials do not want the manager involved in day-to-day directing their staff, but the truth is you sort of can't have it both ways. If you want them to deal with sort of the routine things of payroll, comp time, those kind of things, and I think that's what you're saying, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
But in terms of the day-to-day, what are they doing? How is their workload allocated? Is that allocated? You don't want the manager involved in that.
No.
I think Mrs. Waldman may be saying something different. I don't know.
She is.
Excuse me, do I have the floor?
Sure, yes, go ahead, you can have it.
I mean, I just think that the manager needs to know what's going on. As far as me calling as an assistant and saying I need 6 letters typed by 2 o'clock this afternoon, that's not what I mean. But when it comes to justifying overtime, justifying comp time, justifying vacation time, just the overall consensus training, conduct, yes, that's what I want.
Yeah,
But not the date, not hour to hour.
It's a
I'm doing
fine
this.
line because, for instance, it's difficult for these unless there's a specific supervisor for these people, which you are individually supervising it. That's what it sounds what you want.
Yeah.
The problem then is when there's a project in the city, it's going to be the responsibility of these people, if it's 7 people that you hire, to figure out how to work together, because there's not a elected officials supervisor over all 7 of them. So that's going to have to be worked out among these people. So my understanding is that you want them to be involved in the administrative details of what they're doing in terms of overtime, comp time, vacation. But in terms of day-to-day what they do, directing their work, you want the manager to sort of acquiesce and sort of allow each of you to direct your own staff. Is that? I mean, that's what I'm.
That's what I want.
That's certainly what the mayor's. I think it's very. Since we're having an open conversation about it, I think it's important that the manager know what your expectations are.
Yes, Mr. Shelley.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, my only concern, I think it was more of an issue with if we didn't each have our own assistants, then I think it was more critical to have somebody in a supervisory capacity to dictate conflict resolution, because otherwise you have 3 and everyone's fighting for the same resources. So I think the issue of the conflict resolution is going to be lessened if everyone agrees or votes they have an assistant for each individual council person. But I do think there still needs to be some sort of process in place so that when there are major events, if all 7 assistants are being utilized for that event, there still is a conflict resolution in figuring out how do we determine if 3 of us have an event going on within the same week, how do we divvy up the time of all these assistants? There's got to be somebody that's higher than us that can make that decision. So in that case, yes, I think there needs to be some sort of system worked out. However that works out, I don't know, but I think there is a concern there. But as far as the day-to-day operations, if we all have our own assistants, that will resolve the problems that have been having as far as, you know, what assistance is working for what council person on any given day.
I think there are plenty of resources around the city that you can pull from when a big event comes about. And I think that they want to get involved. And I've seen that in the State of the City address. They wanted to get involved. I didn't have to twist their arm.
Oh, no, I don't disagree as far as outside sources. It's just more or less the internal conflict. If we end up having to run into that issue where we're all trying to use the same assistants, I don't know that that'll be the case now if we all have our own. So I think it's one of those things where it's a wait and see and reevaluate.
Because you may be having an event that we can't pull from you. I may be having something you can't pull from me. So I agree with you 100%. All right. Mr. Williams, your motion, you want to clarify it really clear, make it very clear.
No, it's been clarified.
Okay. Ms. Wallman, you understand where he's coming from?
And George, just be the manager.
Okay.
Jeez.
We got a motion, what, a second? Madam Clerk, call the roll. This is for individual assistance.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick?
Yes.
Councilman Shelley?
No.
Councilman Williams?
Yes.
Councilman Maldonado?
Yes.
Councilwoman Woolman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Burgess?
No.
Mayor Bateman?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So, time certain, you need any other instructions? Okay, good deal. All right, where did we leave off at? Okay, discussion from city attorney. Discussion from city manager.
No.
Councilwoman Faircloth McCormick.
I believe this is our last council meeting for the 2012 year, am I correct?
Yes, you are.
So I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I look forward to celebrating with the staff on Friday. I'm taking the day off so I can party with y'all. Are we having music? No? Oh, well, but I'll be there to celebrate with all of you, and I wish you a prosperous new year. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Shelley.
Yeah, I'll keep mine short and simple as well. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Hope everyone has a great Happy New Year. I will unfortunately will not be able to attend on Friday. I have a work commitment that I have to attend that's not going to allow me to be here at that time. So I won't see you guys there, but I do wish you all well, and I'll see you next year.
Councilman Williams.
Yes, thank you, Mayor, and to my esteemed colleagues. Let me just highlight before the new year and wish everybody happy holidays, and to all of our wonderful employees and staff. And just remind everybody to be safe out there during the holiday season. And that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Maldonado.
Thank you, Mayor. Obviously echo the same as my council members here. It's been a trying year for myself and my family, but nonetheless, I've been happy and proud to serve this community these past couple of years, even though I went through what I went through. And I could end this year knowing and being proud that we've done great. Me and my daughters are doing fine. And I want to thank this community for all the support and the love that's been poured out during these past couple of months. And going into the holidays, I'm truly blessed to be surrounded by so many people that love us and look after us. So to this council, to the staff, and to the city, I thank you for everything. Wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you.
Councilwoman Wallman.
Well, I don't know if this is the appropriate time or not, but I want to congratulate our city manager for serving 2 years with us. His anniversary just passed. Tough 2 years. So grateful you're here. So happy you're here. Again, I want to remind everybody about the toy drive for the soup kitchen. Little Angels have stepped up. We've donated $2,500, so I'm going to be shopping. Turkey Point's on board. Chamber of Commerce is on board. Many people are on board, but we don't just give to the soup kitchen. If we have toys left over, we go to the migrant camps. We go wherever they're needed. So the more the merrier. I just want to say, and I haven't talked much about it, but that big old 53-foot semi-truck that you saw out there, it was packed to the ceiling. Not any space. I mean, just packed. And I think I'm going to thank everybody in January and under my presentations, but it was a remarkable feat. It took 9 days. It arrived in New York. They're so thrilled. I mean, we had everything in there. I never thought I was going to be on a forklift thing, but I was. And it was just amazing. So all the people in the community who came out and called and brought even 3 cans of food or 1 pack of diapers, I mean, it made a difference. It's really made a difference. So with that being said, I'll just say happy holidays. I want to say happy holidays, especially to this crew over here who films us every single week. I've seen these faces for so many years, and I love you, and you do such a fabulous job. You really do. All of you do, and you stand on your feet. And I would love to be in your car on the way home and just listen to what you talk about. What's happened here. But Merry Christmas. Everybody celebrates in their own way. I celebrate with love and joy, and I'm so grateful for my life and for the people in this community who care. So, Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year.
Thank you. Councilman Burgess.
Thank you, sir.
Vice Mayor Burgess.
I'd like to thank the staff for bringing us through another year. I mean, I think the city grows and gets stronger each and every day. So thank you to each and every one of you staff members. I hope you all have a happy and prosperous New Year. And thank you again. And to each one of my colleagues, happy holidays to you. I hope you and your family enjoy it and come back safe. And we'll see you all after the first of the year.
Thank you, sir. Ditto, same thing. I truly applaud the employees. You work diligently hard. It's incredible. You do a great job. I appreciate that. To our citizens, hopefully that we've lived up to what we promised you and the quality of life of our city and just the aesthetics of our city now and the safety of our city under the leadership of Al Roll and the police department that we have is so fine. I thank you for that. I thank this staff here, city clerk, all your assistants and our assistants. I thank city council for doing just a diligent job hanging in here in tough times and making some tough decisions. and Homestead is definitely a better place for it. God bless you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season, and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Motion.
Motion adjourned.